big boy.
So again, we're just testing the system, making sure that
I'm not doing anything.
apparently, well, we're up. So this is, and we're making noise.
Hey,
I'm
you're
sure
making
Donald
all
can
kinds of
complain
noise.
about me.
Oh,
because
yes, I
it's-
just got a notice that In Wheel Time is live now on Facebook. Wow.
You should tune
You
in.
know, it's such a wonderful thing when things come together and actually work.
for a change.
Well, for this actual moment in time.
You know we've been ready for about 30 minutes.
We have,
sound as well.
yeah.
On both my laptop
What else have
and
you
my
got
phone.
on there? Because, you know, in the middle of the show, 3 hours in, something will pop up on your phone, and, oh, you're over there
That's like-
fiddling with it.
that's
How
like
about you,
last
Mars?
week.
Did you get yours turned off?
No, I'm working on it. But last
Okay.
week, the phone was sitting there, and nobody touched it. And the sound came on.
Yeah, for some reason, all of a sudden.
Yeah, we both of us looked down at it like, what the hell?
Well,
It was
Well, I
Siri or
used-
but you
Google.
know what?
I
There was a word that you used last week that we were all, when you said it, you didn't even know that you said it. And when you said it, we all looked at each other going, did he just say
He
what
said that, yeah.
what I thought he said?
Uh-huh.
Mars, FCC.
Or FAA?
No, it
No,
wasn't.
you
an
have to worry about FAA. don't you?
Don't have to worry about
It was,
it.
it was not
Mars
an,
got to worry about FFA,
it was not an F.
FFA.
Future Farmers of America.
Yes, he does.
It was not an F word.
No, it was not the F word. It was the B word, and it wasn't the one that is commonly used.
Buttocks.
It wasn't that. Or it had nothing to do with females whatsoever.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Don't pay any attention, Richard.
You're just,
Should we- as
you're
we-
just tuning in.
As
We're-
we delve further into this,
Richard, you're sideways.
but anyway,
Well, no, but I mean, you're on your ear.
There
you go.
Much better.
you know, I did want to mention to everybody that is just now tuning in or just happen to have the live thing bump up on your
Hi,
Facebook
Candace.
page that we have a really full show today, and it should be really good. Richard Tomlin with Apex Auto Works going to give us a wrench rally update. Let me go through these. Don's going to review the 2021 Chevy Tahoe, and I think that you're going to be shocked at what I have to say about that.
Okay. Well, I like your new ride out there. Ooh, I can't wait to hear you.
Hubba hubba.
Yeah, well, it's $109,000 is the price tag. on it.
Conrad.
I know Jeffrey's all at Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, when you get the tour of that, you're gonna go. You got to be kidding me, right? It's got a beautiful dashboard in it. There's no doubt about it. Rides like a dream. And I'm talking about the 2021 Cadillac Escalade. It's nice. We're going to talk to Gina Child-Knowles
Talk about Texas.
at the Houston Motorsports Park and the Gulf Coast Racing Series.
Okay.
She's renamed it, and I don't want to get into it. Why she's renamed it?
Trying to get a little better.
Well, no, don't even go there
she'll
because
tell you.
she's going to explain to us why it's been renamed.
Okay.
You can just use your imagination,
Oh boy, he's got
but
one.
don't.
Too. He's got one.
Don't even go
The
there.
Gulf Coast.
Yeah,
Because you have to race Volkswagen Golfs now.
that's it.
Or golf course.
What are you going to do in auto history?
We're going to fire auto history today. Everything's going to be on fire.
Okay,
It's going to be a thermal event.
Thermal event.
a thermal event. Okay,
Some of it's funny, some of it's bad.
Oh, and I wanted to tell everybody that Rochelle Salinas with the Houston Auto Show is going to be here.
Yay.
And you ask yourself, well, why is she going to be here? Because they've canceled the show. Well, we've got news
Dun,
for you,
dun,
and this is going to be the first place that you're going to learn about.
So you're going to have to make sure you stay with us till Rochelle comes on.
And she will be on
9 o'clock.
Top of the 9 o'clock
Top
hour.
of the 9 o'clock. Or you could send $20 to
no
and we will tell you, Soupy.
gift cards too.
Now we'll give you a Venmo account.
There you
A
go.
Venmo account. Jeffrey's going to do his pre-owned car of the week is the 2018 Mini Cooper. I can't wait to hear that
You know,
because
there's a lady singer named Minnie Cooper, and she does parodies of Christmas songs. And every time I see one on the road or think of Minnie Cooper, I think of this lady. So
me see that
Google her.
Minnie the Moocher.
No, it's Minnie Cooper.
Oh,
Now,
Minnie
I remember
Cooper.
Minnie the Moocher.
Yeah. the
From the
Moocher.
Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is
What was the
Cab Calloway.
Cab Calloway.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, was that awesome?
Hey, and we're gonna talk to a guy out at a place called Flat Out Auto that does conversions of SUVs into K5s, Chevy K5s.
70s K5 Blazers.
And it looks absolutely amazing and stunning. It's not cheap, but boy, does he do a great job. And we're going to get a tour of the shop. We're going to show you pictures. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. His name is Rob Hester, Flat Out Auto.
And we'll tell you the story about how we figured out what that was, how we found him.
Okay, please do, because I don't even know. What's
It's a
in the car
secret.
clinic?
The car clinic is going to be, what are we doing today?
Clinical.
Very clinical.
Let's look and see what we got.
Biggest cause of your vehicle or what to do with your vehicle if it overheats.
Turn it off.
He said it's a weekend of fire. Weekend of fire.
So
Yes, that was one of the first things that my dad taught me. Son,
turn it off and turn the heater on.
well,
Why would you turn the heater on?
Because the heater, if your heater's
Gives more
on,
room for water
you're
to...
going to be extracting more heat from the engine by blowing air over the heater core to try and cool the engine down.
Let's save that.
let's what?
Let's save that
Save
for
that.
the for the.
Yeah, there's a value
There
to
you
that,
go.
right? Are you finished messing around with my computer?
No, I'm not. I'm telling
Is
you.
that the one
That's the computer that he dropped. He dropped that this morning. And I'm yelling at him, Mars, 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 Mars. And he goes,
Plop.
oh, boom, there it goes on the floor. I'm surprised it didn't shatter in 1,000
Yeah,
pieces.
I have no caffeine yet, so...
You don't need any caffeine. Okay. So let's see. I went down here to Rob Hester. I put all the pages back
need
together.
caffeine.
And
Looks
I
like
lost
Richard's
my
ready.
place.
No, I got
This
some
has got
right here.
like 4,000 milligrams.
See, after
of
Rob
caffeine.
Hester...
Oh, Adrian Espinoza with the Mexico auto scene.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm
He's-
hoping that's going to be a good one.
I talked to him yesterday.
Is he in Mexico or is he here?
No, he's in Mexico. He's actually vacationing in Mexico City. He lives, I think he said, in Monterey, which is closer because he's been to a couple of the car shows over in McAllen. But he's vacationing at a friend's house down in Mexico City.
So this is a guy really in Mexico, not like all these YouTube videos of these guys around Houston that call it the Mexico's Racing League when they're really just running up and down West Park
this
Tollway.
guy is in Mexico.
And then Mr. Mars is going to review the 2021 Hyundai Elantra. And you know, I was telling the boys earlier, now after the entire logo thing that we've been through for the past few months, every single time I see a Hyundai on the road,
You're welcome.
I totally agree. I do the same thing.
it's all I can think of is the original Hyundai logo. And if you don't know what that is,
You have to go back to one of our podcasts.
December
If we-
19th, 2020
Oh,
is
my
the
God.
episode. I
If we
looked it
start
up.
talking about it, I'll just lose it again. That is just too
Yep.
funny.
I still can't believe. Well, no wonder why they changed it. And then we're going to go down to the Gator Nationals and talk to John Metrick about the National Electric Drag Racing Association.
Well-
and you know, Big Daddy Don Garlitz has got an electric drag racing.
And he's there. Now, John is not at there. He's in
Elsewhere in
Angleton.
Florida.
His vice president of the organization is at the Gator Nationals.
and we're not going to talk to him.
Yeah, he's supposed to join us as well.
And they've been running not them, but NHRA has been running an electric Cobra Jet Mustang. And,
But that's that factory car.
yeah, but it's that's kind of the class that they're trying to build.
Don't they have two?
and create.
They've got
yeah.
they run two
Yeah.
against each other. One is set up different. something.
No, both. One's electric, the other one's gas powered.
Okay.
And they're both pretty equal in performance, but the electric is just fun to watch because it's just wheels up, and it'll hold the wheels up probably out 100, 120 feet.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome to watch.
Well-
launch.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine that is actually going to buy a Tesla, a new one, a Model X. Mm-hmm. And
X is the four-door with the bat wing.
no, it doesn't have the bat wings. But it is the SUV, and I think that's what they're going to buy. Anyway, he was
Cool
telling
car.
me it is, but the acceleration in the Tesla is just unbelievable.
You have all of the torque available at the hit of the throttle.
Correct. So you can imagine, I guess, if you somehow goose it up. How do you goose it up?
Probably
How would you goose up an electric motor?
Oh, add more voltage to it.
Well,
add
yeah.
more amperage to it.
Well, that's through a battery.
yeah. Well, but yeah, and even a performance car or a performance electric motor when the batteries are hot performs better.
And I read this week that
when the batteries are fully charged.
the biggest drain on an electric vehicle is the air conditioner, is what I read this week.
Is it really?
I can
As far
believe
as
that.
electrical is concerned,
If the evidently the range that we all talk about, what gives the battery, what drains the battery the most during a ride is using the air conditioner.
That i8 that I had so much trouble because of the range and all that stuff. That was the first thing that went.
i3.
Was it 3?
Yeah, the i8's the sports car. The
No, yeah.
The
The little
i3 is the little bit.
But that was the first thing that shut down on the freeway that I noticed that it was shutting when it started shutting stuff down because it was trying to conserve the battery, kind of stay alive thing.
Shut the AC down.
Shut the AC down.
That'd be a fun thing in South Texas in July. Wonder if they'll take if Richard will get an i3 in the wrench rally. Where did that thing go? 30 miles on electric or 3 gallons of gasoline.
2 gallons of gasoline and 30-mile range on the electric. And
he's stopping quite often, Richard.
And the thing was, though, the further you drove it, even on the gasoline motor, it was drawing down on the battery. So when the battery really got dead, it slows down until it just crawls. According to the BMW engineers, it said it will slow down to a walk.
Tennis shoe mode.
Trying to save that battery.
Goes fast.
flip-flop mode.
Goes fast as your tennis.
Everybody keeps pointing at the clock.
Well, we know you're the clock guy.
Conrad doesn't want to get yelled at again.
Still, again means it's
Well, because he never shuts up.
Can you share that? I'm trying to share that, and it's not sharing on my phone.
Okay.
Well, we're going to go ahead and go live because right now it's coming up at the top of the hour, and it's time to go. Everybody ready?
Ready?
Okay. Well, then here we go. Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, this is the In Wheel Time Car Show. Just ahead, we're going to review our new car of the week, the redesigned 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe. Bet you didn't know it was completely redesigned, did you?
No, sir.
The cruise-in calendar, matter of fact, we're going to have that. Actually, you're going to have that.
Mm-hmm.
This Week in Auto History is also on the agenda. And we'll also have some of the stories making automotive news headlines this week. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show. It's a 3-hour extravaganza starting now for Saturday, March 13th, 2021. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey Zekin in the corner where he needs to be. Don Armstrong
I'm in the booth.
here. You're what?
I'm in the booth.
In the booth.
In the booth.
What kind of a booth?
Photo booth.
The photo. He's in the photo booth.
Kissing booth. There you go.
Okay, well, you just stay there then. Yeah, I'm not coming over. But anyway, we're so glad that you could join us today, coming to you live from the outskirts of Houston, Texas, in a little place called Sugarland, Texas, in Studio A.
Hey!
It's not that, it's actually the letter A.
Well, it's actually the A is we named it after Armstrong. It's Studio Armstrong.
No, actually, that's not correct. But
It's your story. You're sticking to it.
You can stick with it if you want to.
I'm in the booth.
When I worked for KPRC Radio, we had studios A, B, C, and D. And I did a lot of work in Studio A, and I thought, well, we'll just name it Studio A.
Okay.
You know, that's the thing about having our own studio. We can name it whatever we want.
Well, and we can change the name on the fly.
That's right.
Where you do, it seems like every weekend you change the name of the network we're in.
Yeah.
No,
Studio.
it's the same network. It's just the producer, I think, that changes.
It's the producer that changes. We're in the Smoke and Mirrors network, or on it.
Yeah.
Studio Trixie.
Really? Okay.
Don't get him started. He'll
There
be
was,
showing us the
there was a
logo
woman
again.
named Trixie in my family years and years ago.
Many.
Been dead a long time, but yeah, at any rate. So we're moving on, and we're going to start with our dear friend, Mr. Richard Tomlin, and he is the man behind the company called Apex Auto Works. It looks like you're there now. And we're going to start off by talking about the wrench rally. And for those that are just joining us and really don't know about the wrench rally, Richard, why don't you kind of give us a little brief update as to what exactly is the wrench rally?
Well, wrench rally was a concept that was kind of stolen from what we had done years ago, playing with lemons and crap can cars. And what we figured out was after a
What kind of
somewhat
cars?
skilled
I was going to say,
What
wait a
kind of
minute.
what kind of cars did you call them?
crap can cars.
Crap
Crap
can
can
cars.
cars.
Well, we
For
call
less
them
than
like
$1,000.
we call them hoopties or junk
Right.
cars.
The crap can may be below the hoopty, though, I'm thinking.
I think you're right. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
So we would buy cars of nominal value. We'd spend a couple of weeks wrenching on them, and you could turn it into a daily driver. This is kind of like, the shade tree mechanics flipping cars. And we were looking for a way that we as individuals could give back a little bit to society. Mechanics, it seems to be, we either work on our friends' cars for free or we just give people cash. And I wanted to do something a little better than that. So we created a gimmick rally that runs over 2 to 3 days, depending on where we're going. You buy a car a month, 2 weeks, maybe a day before the rally. And you take off on this gimmick rally, which has designated waypoints. It's got bonus points you can find along the way if you're willing to drive out of the way a little bit. And then at the end of each night, we have a large social, like the one coming up. We're going to actually go to the Chaparral Museum. We're going to go to Carroll Shelby's museum in Vegas.
But that's going to be after the liquor store.
Well, I mean, that's up to you, Don. I mean, we know where people like to go.
Yeah.
But that gives us time each evening. These people like to drive a lot, but the last one we gave away 6 cars to single parents.
In
Our
Seattle.
goal this time is to give 15 vehicles away. So trying to give back to society a little bit and have fun while we're doing it.
Well, clearly, with 15 cars means you need to have 15 drivers.
No,
Well,
15
actually,
teams.
so what we do is we do teams of 4 in the vehicles. So you've got a team of 4 that makes the trip. And then when we get this example, when we get to Vegas this time, those 4 people will donate their cars to JC Supercars, and they'll hop on a plane and fly back to Houston and done. So it's kind of a one-way ticket.
And I like the change you made this year of teams of 4, because the first one you did, you went Seattle and landed in
Yep.
Houston, but it was only 2. Well, if you're giving a car to a family, a Mazda Miata is not quite the kind of car you want to give to a family. So
Correct.
going teams of 4, I think is a great idea because you're getting a much more roomy vehicle for a family to travel in.
Well, it also lowers the barrier of entry too, right? I mean, you've got to pay, $250 a person entry fee is a lot more acceptable than $500 a person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
So
because
we love the
there
entry
is
fee
an
now.
entry fee for it.
So when is this year's event?
This year's event is April 9th. We will be leaving from the old train depot here in Alvin, Texas. We'll make Midland that night, which we'll go to the Chaparral Museum. We've got 5 hours of time there. Leave the next morning at 7 a.m., headed off through Roswell up to Gallup, New Mexico. We'll stay at the El Rancho Haunted Hotel that night. We've got a couple Route 66 tours lined up as well. Then that following Sunday morning, we'll take Route 66 from Gallup all the way into Las Vegas, another 440 miles. And we will end Sunday, hopefully about 2:30, 3 o'clock, all going well, right? No cars breaking. nothing
Well, I'm
like
just
that.
going to say, do you have some sort of a
Sweeper vehicle?
something to help along the way? Because these
Yeah,
are hoopty
we've got
vehicles.
2. We've got our sweep vehicle. So my truck is outfitted as we use it for the Mexico road racing, completely outfitted with all tools, spares, jacks, compressor. And we've got 2 mechanics riding that run sweep. And then we will have Haggerty back on board for their roadside assistance. So Haggerty Insurance, as we all know, with Angelica, is working on getting the rest of that finalized.
And is Angelica going to go on the rally again this year?
She's trying. She was trying to get a team of 4. Last time she technically had a team of 5. They were the ones that created the vision of, hey, larger team makes this a whole lot easier. You don't think driving 600 miles a day and running around and chasing scavenger hunt style, chasing things down will wear you out. But on day 3, people were crying a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, blame it on the scavenger hunt.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Not the evening indulgences.
No, and then we're a little mischievous with the scavenger hunt. We limit it to 5 words maximum that we're going to give you as a clue. So you have to take those 5 words that we give you and figure out where we want you to go and what we want you to find. And then you'll post it to the app called Roadster, which is call it Facebook for Cars is the easiest way. It's just car people, just car stuff. And it allows us to hold an individual event in there. And for those people that want to follow along on the event, see where all the cars are, you can actually see live tracking, how far apart cars are. You can estimate speeds, but you can't really tell how fast they're going. There was one person that was warned from the rally day 1. Day 2, they were removed from points and told not to continue with the rally. So things happen.
Well, yeah,
Got to
things
be an
happen.
adult.
Things happen. But you
Yeah.
know, you've obviously got it. You mentioned a couple of the stops. You know, the Chaparral Museum, the Shelby Museum, and the Haunted Hotel thing. So obviously, along Route 66, some of these scavenger hunt type things for points are going to be involved with some historical type things. So what are the points? You know, what are you working for to get the points?
Well, the points basically so we can get a ranking of where teams show up in the end, who did the most effort, who covered the most miles. With that, we designate first, second, and third place. We award trophies, and this year we should have a small cash prize that we're hoping turns around and gets donated to the charity that we're working for. That's what we always ask them to do. But so many people are competitive and want to be ahead. There was no way to do it without doing points and scoring.
Yeah, you
people.
got to have some way to measure it.
Yeah, and we do these, I call them quirky trophies. Basically, is all the cars we work on, we get lots of fun broken parts, and we save those. And one of the trophies for this one, we got the inside of an AC compressor, which you don't think is very special. But unless you've never seen one, it looks like the landing gear to a UFO.
Oh.
So we figure since we're going through Roswell, compressor landing gear, and then we'll have two old 55 Chevy hubcaps to make it look like a little flying saucer on top. So
Cool. How cool is
And
that?
you
the prize this time is going to be pretty coveted.
You should stay at the Little Alien. Little Alien.
Is there
Roswell.
one that is that called that?
Little Alien, yeah.
Yes, there is.
Roswell.
It might be on the scavenger
I've never
hunt.
been to there, but I've been to that museum in Roswell. It's pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
are you guys going to storm Area 51?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any storming. There's definitely a pass through, and it definitely is part of the scavenger hunt. Is for those people that want to go there, we want to award them points for stuff that they want to do along the route as well. It's a once in a lifetime thing. Get a chance to do stuff you've wanted to do, and shove it all into a 3-day weekend, then hop on a short flight home back to Houston.
And then the other cool thing is the historic Route 66, because truly Route 66 doesn't exist anymore. But my gosh, what a road with such a car history and automotive history. You know, originally, it started in Chicago, went across country, and ended at the Santa Monica Pier. And, kind of comes through Missouri. My experience with it was Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle when I lived up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Missouri, too, on that. You know, Richard, that's something to think about. What would it take to go the entire length of Route 66?
Doesn't it start outside of Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago to California.
Chicago. I would start in Joliet just because I'm a Blues Brother nut too. So
Yeah.
I could actually see you driving the
Being
the
Lower
Fury-
Wacker Drive.
the Fury
Oh.
with the speaker on the roof.
get me one, I'm in. The Route 66 discussion has happened many times. The bigger issue of Route 66 is so much of it now is through
Interstate.
community areas and commercial
Right.
business areas, stoplight to stoplight.
Like Springfield is almost all, I mean, it'd take you a couple of hours to get through Springfield if you tried to do that.
It was like he was talking Oklahoma. You get in the middle of Oklahoma City through Yukon, Bethany. I mean, it's 45 minutes to crawl through there.
Right.
It would just really slow the tour down. But we're looking at how to pick up some stops and still stay off the interstates. That's the goal with all of these. The less interstate time, the happier we seem to be. And get you out in some parts of the country, you get to see fun things and take you a $1,700 car and go have a good time with 4 friends. Make sure one of them is a mechanic. And we have a good time.
Well, I thought it was funny because I kind of followed on the app your Seattle wrench rally, and I guess people just showed up in Seattle and bought a car,
Yeah, we
kind
had
of
one
sight
fee.
unseen, and
Yep,
ended up
there's
buying
about 3
2
of
of
them.
them.
Sight unseen.
Yeah.
See, I
The
thought
Civic
that
was
was
the best story. They'd arranged for her to meet them at the airport. They'd landed, walked out, handed her $600 for a Honda Civic. Came with an extra set of tires because it had snow tires on it at the time. They showed up at the driver's meeting 30 minutes later. They go to sleep that night, get the next day, drove it from there to here. Only thing they did was they changed one tire because they lost a tire at the Texas state line. Other than that, they didn't do a thing. Changed the oil, water, nothing. Just hopped in it and drove.
That's confidence.
But by the same
you also
token,
had some people, the car didn't go 50 feet. The first one they bought, it failed
This
almost immediately.
is true, but we don't want to bring that up.
I
Buying a
understand.
diesel Mercedes and you've never owned one before is a bad plan.
Yeah, well.
So if there are people who are watching us today that want to join the wrench rally, how can they get in contact with you and sign up? Because I think you
Quickest
still
way
have
is,
teams open, right?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram's the quickest, easiest way. And all those have my phone number attached to it and email. so you can get a hold of me and get involved. Looking for any assistance, anybody that wants to come along, or if you want to join a team, we've got a couple teams that are 2 to 3 people. So they're looking for additional manpower to join them and go have a good time for a weekend.
So Richard, so it's $1,000 to enter.
Correct.
So what about the hotels and all those kind of arrangements?
So when we do the events where we fly out of town, we usually include the first night of hotel. Since most are leaving from Houston,
right,
we're not actually putting a hotel in this one because we don't know who all is going to make it to Midland that night.
Okay, fair enough.
True.
The hope is everybody makes it.
But what happens if they
great
don't make it,
hotels.
Richard? What happens if they don't make it that night? What do you wait for them?
The
or?
suggestion is you rent a car from Enterprise or Hertz and you hop in and follow along. The other thing we've seen teams do is go out and buy another car in a small town. Just go out and plop down another $700, buy another car, and jump in and go.
I was going to say, because the rates that the car rental companies are charging these days would probably wind up $700 if you did the, from point A to point B and drop the car off.
Don't car dealerships give you a 3-day grace? So, okay, take it for the weekend, take it, and then go to a dealership, get one for 3 days, and then drive it. And
Well, I think the objective is to donate the car.
You can still do that.
When you get to
You can still do
Las
that.
Vegas.
Why not?
Yeah.
And then tell us about the donating the car. You'd mentioned an organization that you're going to donate through, and what are they going to do with the cars once they receive them?
So what this organization does, they're based in Phoenix, and they were part of our first rally. I know them through a couple of business acquaintances, but they donate a car a month to a single mother. So we're just going to be donating our cars to support them. Now, some of the cars that get chose to participate in our rallies, like let's say the limo we had last time. Well, a single parent doesn't need the limo. They also don't need the 2-door Audi that was there, the 2-door Mercedes. So those cars get donated and they end up selling them at auction. And then that money goes directly to the charity to help fund them on donating other cars. We did have the 3 minivans, which went straight to parents. All 3 of those vans were serviced by Christian Brothers Automotive. Then Christian Brothers donated all 3 of those vans the following week to single parents here in Houston on the last rally.
And that was probably your trigger for going to 4 passengers in the vehicle. Just
Absolutely.
How well the
Absolutely.
minivans were received.
It pushed it more in the direction that we want to go, which is the ultimate goal of giving more cars to single parents, both male and female. That just help other people out.
Well, what a great cause. And go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, Richard, last week we talked to a group up in Conroe called God's Garage. If y'all do another event that comes back here, they do basically the same thing you're talking about doing. They help maybe a single mother that can't get her car fixed. They fix it. It's a group of volunteers. They're working in Conroe. Or they'll take a car, and I think they even talked about if it wasn't worth fixing, they would sell it and help her get another car. But they do some things with single parents, military families that are deployed. So if you come back this way with something in an event, you might look at them as well as for a way to deliver some cars.
Always looking to spread the love around.
Cool. Sounds like a lot of fun.
And if you're just joining us, this is the In Wheel Time Car Show. We're live today from Studio A in Houston, USA. And so while we're talking to you, we haven't even mentioned the yellow car that's behind you there at the Apex Auto Works. And I thought that maybe we could kind of shift gears a little bit and find out what you got going on in the garage.
Well, this one is almost done. This is a 73 Ford Falcon GT 351.
Sweet.
So I may pause for a second. And Conrad, you want to give me the history on this car? Or you want me to do it?
Oh, is this the Aussie car?
This is the Aussie car.
Oh, my gosh.
4-speed, right-hand drive, 351.
Yeah.
Cleveland from the factory.
I had seen, I guess, a sister car to this. Is it the same owner? I'd seen a sister car to this at one of my shops, a blue and white one, and it is the car that Mad Max used in the original movie. That with the big blower and stuff sticking out of the hood. So that's when I saw that, I took a bunch of pictures of it. And I guess Richard had seen it online and told me, he kind of knew who the owner was. The guy had more than one.
He's got 3 of them. So this one, the cool thing about this one is this is basically your premium edition is the easy way to put it. Top tier. 710 of these made in Australia in 1973. And it's one of supposedly 4 in the U.S. that's the actual GT351.
Well, I love the hood because the hood is very reminiscent of the 73 Mach 1.
Yeah. That's when I saw the hood. That's what I was thinking, but there was no
What
steering
I'm
wheel
told
over there.
is from the firewall back, it is Torino. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at
Firewall
the seat.
forward, it is Mustang.
Yeah, I was looking
be
at the
darned.
C-pillar when you were sitting there talking. I'm going, that's Torino.
Yeah.
And then when you said Falcon, I'm like, huh? But, okay, well, that makes
Wait a
sense.
second. Yeah.
But it's a mid-size
course-
car, what we would call a mid-size car. Chevelle, Cutlass-size car.
That car is huge.
It is huge. I had a friend of mine had one of those.
That car is a lot of fun, though.
And are
Enjoy
you-
that
are-
car? It's close. It should be done hopefully in the next probably month. We're at the point of one more layer of clear, and then we start putting the interior back together.
And it just going back stock, basically? Or
Yeah, it's stock. The last one at Sotheby's sold of this was $365,000.
Sweet.
Ouch.
But wait a minute. Did I not see roll bars in the back of that?
Nope, no roll bars in that one.
Okay.
Although when it showed up, it had mounting plates for where roll bars were. That's some of the stuff that we took out and fixed, and new floor pan areas to cover all that up.
So it's going to be a street car.
Yeah, this is a street car. I think this one's probably going to be more of his. He gets together, enjoys it for 6-7 months, and then sells it, passes it on down the road.
So what kind of restoration was done on it? Was frame off, rotisserie, any added mods to it?
I don't do any of the rotisserie or the frame off, but on this one, basically, it's old school unibody car. So it's still subframe stuff, but it was taken completely apart. When this one showed up, there was a spot on the roof that I could put my fist through where it had rusted out.
Wow.
So all metal, patchwork, everything back in, grind fill. The package tray was rusted through. This car would not have been worth restoring had it not been the GT351.
Yeah, so
It's the only thing
unique.
that made it worth doing.
So did
Yeah.
you just do all fab work for it, or did you go buy Torino parts through Ford to patch?
This owner wouldn't let us do any of that. It had to be, if it was a part that I was replacing, he would order the part from Australia,
Oh, wow.
cut out that section on a regular base Falcon that was down there, and then send that to us.
Holy cow.
It's like, yeah, the section of the roof, we got a quarter of the roof area on the left rear. When it got here, we trimmed it down more, made it clean, transferred our size over, cut it out, and welded it in. Package tray was one of the hardest things to find. I guess it sat for a long time without a back window in it, but the package tray had rusted out. I'd never welded in a package tray before. That was a first for me. Whole lot of spot welds on the inside of that one.
What a total pain that would be.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It was not fun.
Have to be a
I'm sure the machines
contortionist.
made it a lot easier, but
Have to be a contortionist to do it. So, though this is a low production model, the vehicle itself was huge production in Australia.
correct.
That is the
I would have never guessed that. Never
yeah.
guessed that in a million years with a 351, because I mean that goes with the Chevy SS and all the other ones.
That model being the 351, but they offered that same body, but not with the SS modifications like a regular Malibu would have been.
Right.
They made probably millions of them through the years.
Something
A bunch of- there's-
equivalent to like a 307 or
Right.
some sort of
And
base
now I
motor.
think they're all completely out of production in Australia. I know Holden's not there; doesn't really exist anymore. They're not building anything in Australia.
Yeah.
So the Australia Supercar series, which is where this probably ran back in the 70s, and was probably
I don't know much about the actual racing history on that platform, but I know it was the largest motor offered in this platform.
So what else you got in the shop, Richard?
Stuff that you might like. We got the Miata, which is DroneWorks car. This is just one we're making more pretty, but the one that's interesting probably to you guys is the vintage Mini.
Oh my!
Oh wow!
Original vintage Mini Cooper S. We had to add some roll bars to it. This is one of our local C-Bar, Corinthian Vintage Racing Association cars. $12.75. To give a comparison, the wheels on it are 10 inches.
As I say, tens.
Tens.
Well, look who just took my
10
car
rims.
review.
My lawnmower has bigger tires than this. The car itself, though, at MSR, it runs as fast as the Miatas do. So it's fully prepped. It's been a race car since 1982.
I was going to say that
Yeah, but
car
what-
looks like a ton of fun.
But what's the car weigh? About 1,400 pounds?
Actually, I've not even
and
looked.
it's right-hand drive too.
Yeah,
That would take
right
some
hand
getting
drive.
used
This
to.
is a converted right hand drive.
Almost like a
Well,
Legends.
Yeah,
my
about that
Legend's
size.
about this size,
Yeah.
in all honesty.
Except that was a
Legend's a little bit
production.
smaller.
That was a production car in Great Britain.
Yeah, it's an amazing car. So this one goes home today. And then, CRX, of course, we've always got some of those around. The other one's kind of cool is buddy up on the north side runs Spring Automotive. He's got an Audi TT.
Cool
And he just
car.
got one that's what they call an RS7, I think. 5-cylinder, big turbo, makes like 500 horse.
Wow.
But yeah, this one we're working on.
Yeah, I
For
know.
those of you that have been around the shop enough, take a look at the bumper reinforcement integrated into the intercooler.
Oh,
Don't
my God.
hit any parking blocks or bump the garage.
Yeah,
Wow.
really.
That'd be an expensive bump.
I like the
Yeah.
hood scoop too.
Well, Richard, we sure appreciate the time you've taken this morning for us, as we always do. Good luck on the wrench rally. Are we going to talk to you before you go?
Hope so.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think we got one more setup, one more update coming.
All right. Well, we will talk to you then before you leave on the wrench rally and find out who all's involved. And best of luck between now and then.
Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Be good.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Richard.
much. Richard Tomlin with Apex Auto Works. Okay, time now for this hour's Cruise In calendar. You got 60 seconds. See the clock there? 60
All right,
seconds.
so this weekend is Good Guys at Lone Star Nationals up at Texas Speedway. And our friend Randy Borcherding with Paint Houses up there with his Ranchero. Tomorrow is Spring Break Car Cruise at 27700 I-10 Katy. And that is the kickoff to the 2K TX event here in town. Sunday is the Shiner Car Gathering at Rustic Road in Kingwood. And then next weekend is Tailpipes and Tacos at Loopy Tortillas off of Kingsland and 99.
yeah.
Is that 60 seconds?
You got 10 seconds.
That's okay. I'll give you that 60 seconds. You can have the 10 seconds back. Thursday is Rudy's barbecue meet up in Tomball off
I'm
of
going to turn you
249.
into a radio guy before the end of the earth.
Doubtful.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Time now for this hour's car review. Taking a look at the 2021 Chevy Tahoe. All new from the ground up. Available trim levels include the LS, which is the base model, the LT, the RST, the Z71, the Premier, and the High Country. I had the two-wheel drive RST, which stands for Rally Sport Truck. Bet you didn't know that. This is a standard SUV with now 3 rows of seating. It is bigger in every dimension. So just wanted you to know
I like
that.
the change they made to the front.
7 passengers in this particular one. Fully redesigned for 21. This is the 5th generation Tahoe. RST comes with 22-inch wheels, unique front fascia, and black trim. Special RST seats also are applied to this with contrasting stitching. Exterior features include bigger than the outgoing Tahoe in every way, as I mentioned. Sharp-looking front fascia, RST unique to the trim. Forward-leaning C-pillar. Sharp yet conservative-looking rear end as well. Overall look gets 2 thumbs up from me. As far as improvements are concerned, nothing. Congrats to the design department at Chevrolet. Interior highlights include an all-new dash design. Friendly to use, looks great too. Huge center console is big enough to hide small children in. Easy to access third row seat, which is something new because it used to be difficult to get back there. Easy to use infotainment system too. Cargo trunk room. It's much bigger than it used to be, but still limited with the third row seats up, as you can imagine.
It's a short wheelbase.
It's much larger, obviously, with the seats down. Ginormous with both rows stored is the interior size. What I liked, the Tahoe now bigger than the old Suburbans.
Is it really?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, if there were anything done with the improvement to this, I would offer Chevrolet the idea of maybe offering a queen mattress option for the back
like
there.
the old Nash Ron Stein owns.
That's it. 3-liter turbocharged straight six diesel. 277 horsepower. That's I don't know if that's the diesel. Is that the
That's
diesel?
the
Yeah,
diesel.
that's the
Yeah.
That's
Duramax,
it. Okay. 460 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic transmission. It will tow up to 8,200 pounds.
That's pretty good.
And it will haul up to 1,625 pounds. Miles per gallon, and this is where it all pays off. 21 miles per gallon city is what it's rated. Highway 28 for a combined of 24. I got 23.5 over 444 miles. And it performed flawless.
10-speed in the diesel. The thing I really liked about it was, I heard you start it. You
Can't
can't tell it's a diesel.
No.
Ride and handling, a new independent rear suspension takes the ride to a new luxury level. I mean, it makes the world of difference in this. Independent rear suspension on the Tahoe. Really cool. One of the few body-on-frame SUVs left on the market.
Right.
Base trim price $57,100. Prices tested $67,335.
Not that
Base
bad.
model price $52,135. As far as competitors, the Ford Expedition starts at $50,720, GMC Yukon $55,610, and the Chevy Traverse. And I throw this in there because they're kind of similar in size, but remember the Traverse
Front-wheel drive.
is a front-wheel drive
Or all-wheel
and it's
drive.
a unibody, whereas the Tahoe clearly is a body on frame. But the Chevy Traverse starts at $30,995, and that is our review of the Chevy Tahoe.
I think that in my view, all out appearances seem that the Tahoe is larger than the Traverse. And we had Kathy and I looked at that vehicle last week when he had it. It's a beautiful vehicle.
Yeah.
In fact, we recommended it to my daughter. It's the third row is just amazing.
And
You can
I
try-
really do like the change they made to the front end of the truck. It got
Absolutely.
rid of that squarish body that the previous
was ugly.
generation was. I don't know that it was ugly.
It was
plain.
plain.
It was
It was-
hearse-like.
Yeah.
And this one, they really
And
made
with the
some
straight
huge
body
changes.
lines,
Right.
particularly you throw that over on the Suburban and stuff, it's exactly
I'm
what it
telling
looked
you,
like.
if you're a Tahoe fan, you're going to love this thing. Hey, the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcast, Pandora, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. In Wheel Time Car Show continues after this quick break. Stay with us.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, March 20th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods, all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off at a friends and family event at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise-in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 20th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise-in, March 20th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, this is In Wheel Time, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Howdy along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey Zekin in the corner. Don Armstrong here. Glad you could join us today. And we had hoped to have Gina Child-Knowles on the line with us. She's not there yet, but I had to remind everybody that this is an open practice day for those racers out at Houston Motorsports Park in the new Gulf Coast Racing Series, which is what she has renamed it. And I don't want to steal her thunder in hopes that she's going to call in. I've texted her. Mr. Mars has texted her, and she's busy.
If you're listening out there at the track, go find her.
Grab me a hot dog, too, while you're there.
Yeah. I don't know if they got hot dogs out there today.
Not on practice day, unless they've got them in their
Practice
in
eating
their
hot
pits.
Yeah. A good corn dog, it sounds really good right about now. A lot of mustard.
A lot of mustard.
A lot of mustard.
Yellow mustard, though.
No,
Not the spicy mustard.
Oh, we got to have the spicy.
Okay.
You like the yellow?
No, I like the spicy, the seeded mustard, but I'm not on a corn dog, just a pure yellow.
I like
mustard,
the well, and I
traditionalist.
appreciate that.
You
But
are.
I like the horseradish mustard myself.
Well, the stuff you have in your kitchen is wonderful.
You
Yeah,
are a little
Coops.
seedy.
Coops, yes, I am. Okay, so since she hasn't checked in, I'm going to steal her thunder.
Okay.
Why not?
So, Gulf Coast Racing Series is the new name. It used to be
Texas Short Track Racing Series.
Right. And it's still that, but the new
then
name
before
is
that, it
Gulf
was
Coast
Texas
Racing
Asphalt
Series.
Racing
And the
Series.
reason that it is now Gulf Coast Racing Series is because Gina has acquired the rights to use Mobile International Speedway. It's a half-mile banked asphalt oval in Mobile, Alabama. And yes, it is a day's drive over there. But
It's worth
she
it.
has 4 races scheduled at Mobile. And the race days at Mobile are May 1st, June 5th, June 26th, and July 10th. I had originally told her that I would help her over there, but, with the number of dates that it is, she actually...
You crawfished on her.
Okay. Crawfished on her.
Boiled her.
Well, it's time and distance, and you just won't have
Well,
to
it's
count.
time and distance, but I'm already committed to her to do
All the ones here in Houston.
Yeah, the ones here in Houston. And, it's working a full-time job and being on call every other weekend. It's kind of difficult to schedule all that stuff.
You're kind of like a doctor.
No, I'm
being
not.
on call.
Well,
Yeah.
I am a doctor. A doctor of love, baby.
Oh, boy.
I was going to say he's the,
Walked right
he's the
into that.
traffic doctor.
He needs his own kissing
No, I'm
booth.
not the traffic doctor. I used to be the traffic doctor. I'm not anymore. So at any rate, today is an open practice day out at Houston Motorsports Park. So no crowds, nothing like that. No races per se. It is open practice. So, the guys can
Test and tune, get your car set up,
yeah,
get it running
all
right.
that. Because the first race out there is Saturday, April the 3rd. Okay? Saturday, April the 3rd is the first race out there.
3 weeks, something like that.
Yep.
Yep.
And so, with that in mind, here are the other dates out at Houston Motorsports Park. May 29th, July 3rd, July 17th, September 4th, and September 11th. And there may be another one in there later on. She hasn't given us a specific date, but I thought that you would be interested in those dates. Now, if you want to have some fun and need a little out-of-town trip, what would be really fun is it's a jaunt over to Mobile. I'll tell you that. It's a day's drive over there. But there's plenty to do in Mobile and around Mobile Bay, and it's a beautiful time. I spent 2-3 summers over there at a place called Point Clear, which is on the eastern shores of Mobile Bay. And it's a beautiful old hotel that's been updated, obviously, that was actually, the property was used for the injured Confederate soldiers during the Civil War. So there's a lot of history there.
No, cancel
Okay.
culture will love that.
Yeah, well, whatever the case may be.
Thanks for reminding him.
Yeah, thanks. Did you have to throw that in there?
He always does.
God. But at any rate, it's a beautiful hotel. I think Hyatt owns it now, or Marriott, one or the other. But it's a beautiful hotel there. It's very different, but it's really cool.
Old.
Oh, well, no.
No, I mean historical, not
historic.
yeah.
Yes, because the hotel is not the original, but it's a beautiful place on Mobile Bay. So my idea would be to take off on a Friday, drive over there, spend the night at the hotel on Friday night, and maybe Saturday night. But go to the races in Mobile. It's just across the bridge in Mobile, and take in the race on Saturday night. Sleep in late on Sunday, and then drive back on Sunday afternoon.
Be a fun trip.
It would be a fun trip. So at any rate, that's Mobile International Speedway, and I'm sure that if you look it up online, you'll find all the information.
Half
that you
mile
need to.
banked oval.
Half mile
That'll
banked
be a
oval.
hoot.
Wow.
Kind of like Meyer Speedway was.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a half mile.
It was a half
mile.
That's a decent sized track.
It is, and it's to me it's a perfect size track. Well, what is it that's on the NASCAR circuit? Bristol's a half mile.
And dirt now.
And, well, yeah, they put the dirt over the
couple of
top of
weeks,
it in a couple of weeks.
That's
well,
going to be fun to
they
watch.
put sawdust, a layer of sawdust, then clay, then dirt. So it's layered. It's like a
Yeah, because you got to build the dirt up
right.
high enough.
You just
But I
can't,
guess the
because they're gonna-
sawdust is
like congeals and makes sure the dirt stays in place.
Sticks to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, holds it together.
But
fiber.
that's going to rut up. You know, these guys, that's going to be a hoot to watch.
Yeah, to watch the big boys bouncing around inside their cars. So anyway, April 10th is open practice over there. Then the races that she's got scheduled so far are going to be May 1st, June 5th, June 26th, and July 10th. Those are the race dates. May 1st, June 5th, June 26th, and July 10th.
And they're still NASCAR. They're still NASCAR series.
Yeah.
Sanctioned.
Yeah.
Sanctioned, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Advanced Auto Parts NASCAR Weekly Series.
That's cool.
So at any rate, it's
Think
going to
about
be.
it. She's really created a series for drivers here locally
And over
across
there.
the Gulf Coast.
Because remember, their
It was
drivers
all gone.
the drivers were over there,
Right.
mainly in the Florida, Georgia,
Gulf Coast.
Alabama area.
Florida Georgia line.
And so now they've got two racetracks they can compete against. So anyway, that's a good thing.
Got all
Okay,
their
also the other thing that I wanted to tell everybody is that the Gator Nationals are this week. Woo! Drag racing is back, and they got a full schedule this year. So
Don's got his red pumps ready for the drag
We
racing.
woke Suze up. She got up on that.
yeah, yesterday they had first round of qualifying last evening, actually. And so Ron Capps, Steve Torrance, Ron Capps in Funny Car, Steve Torrance in Top Fuel Dragster, Erica Enders, and Angel Sampé.
Four-time.
Yeah, they are all number one qualifiers.
And she
far.
she qualified with a 6:52. This early in the season, that is lightning fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard to beat.
Oh, yeah.
And so with that in mind, Gator Nationals this weekend, we are committed. The In Wheel Time Car Show.
We should be committed.
In Wheel Time is committed to have another appearance. Thank you, Seth Angel, out at Houston Raceway Park.
Raceway Park.
Well, Motorsports Park, Raceway Park. It's hard to keep the two. Anyway,
Car park.
we're going to go to the Mopar Express Lane NHRA Spring Nationals presented by Pennzoil, and that's coming up May 21st through the 23rd. So we're going to
Could
be
be
there.
in the spring this year.
Yep. And we'll have all of our great interviewers, including Antron Brown. I know everybody loves
Antron's a
Antron. Yeah, he's an absolute hoot.
He's got some cool videos of this weekend at Gator Nationals. Just happy to be, and so does Erica on her Facebook page. Just they're so happy to be back at the track.
We all are.
There's fans. You know, it's almost back to normal.
And announced this week, NHRA Fall Nationals. Tickets are on sale now for the Texas Motorplex, and that's going to be October 6th through the 10th. So if you're into drag racing, you can mark that on your calendar. Thought you'd like all that information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all that I had. Did you have anything else? Did you want to do with the racing calendar here or no?
Yeah, we can do the racing calendar. So
Since we're on the subject.
you know, this weekend is the Gator Nationals, like Don talked about. Next weekend is IMSA, the 12 Hours of Sebring. And again, the Corvettes are going to be racing. They actually typically the 24 Hours of Le Mans was happening in early June. They've moved that until the middle of August this time, which is kind of surprising because it's going to be pretty hot. So it's going to be a different challenge for all those guys driving. Next weekend is Atlanta for the NASCAR Cup, and then March 28th, we just talked about Bristol and the dirt track. Circuit of the Americas, NASCAR's coming to Austin, Texas to run COTA, and that's going to be May 23rd. I was wondering if we were going to get to go on in-wheel time, but we're going to be someplace better because we're going to be out at Baytown at the NHRA event. So join us there. IndyCar starts the 16th of April at Birmingham Barber Motorsports Park. And then
it's outside of Atlanta.
Outside of Atlanta. And then NHRA this weekend. They're also in Atlanta on the 28th of March. And then the weirdest thing is the Winter Nationals, which was traditionally the opening event for NHRA, is going to be April 11th, and that's going to be in Pomona. Formula One racing starts in 2 weeks at Bahrain. So lots of stuff coming and going, but again, Wrench Rally, which to me I think it's not a race, but it's going to be a fun event, and that's going to be April 9th, and that's going to leave Houston, go to Las Vegas, donate those cars, and then fly back.
For a very, very good cause.
And then you had already mentioned Gulf Coast Racing Series is April 3rd and May 29th, and then July 3rd. So they're going to have the 4th of July event again.
Yeah, and don't forget, next weekend we're going to be broadcasting live from Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant, 8 to 11 a.m., and that's the hours of the actual cruise-in. Remember, last month,
rained out.
It was like 0 degrees.
Freeze, yeah.
Froze out.
Bust out.
But people showed up. I was kind of proud of the Houston car community that, because
there were several cars.
Stan said folks were showing up.
Yeah, that they showed up anyway, and that's who we are. We do those sort of things. Plus, not only that, we've been cooped up for a year.
Yes.
And everybody's looking to get out and do stuff, and anything.
Yeah, including driving to Las Vegas in 2 days in an old hoopty.
Yeah, well,
or a crap. What do you call it?
Crap car.
Crap car.
Crap car.
Crap box.
No, it was a crap car. It's
Crap car.
Well, whatever the case may be. I mean, that's what I had in school. Crap car.
Well, that's what you learn to appreciate cars on. Go out there, brand new car at 16 years old, you don't appreciate it.
Excuse me? There was a time where when I was 16, I had a car, and then the next 5 years.
Brand new one?
It was a hand-me-down at the time. It was maybe a year
yeah,
old.
that's what we're saying.
But I had 5 cars in 5 years, fixed them up, sold them, and they were all new. Yeah, I had a 77 GMC van, bought new. Had my dad's 442. That was fairly new. Yeah.
See, there's an Oldsmobile in his history,
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. My dad worked for Olds, General Motors and Olds Division, yeah.
I always wondered what was wrong with you.
I know.
Hey.
But I wasn't born in the East Coast, and I'm not from Oklahoma. So
No, but you were born in Detroit.
Well, there you go.
Oh, my gosh. When I worked for General Motors, every time I went to Detroit on business, I never left my return ticket at the hotel room just in case something happened. I was always in my shirt pocket just so I could make sure I could get out of there.
Born in Detroit. Isn't that some sort of Steve Perry song or what is it?
Born in Detroit.
No, I think it's San Francisco.
But yeah, you would know that.
So Ted Nugent,
the madman.
Yeah.
I had some. Well, okay. So I'll let you choose.
you got some other stories?
I do.
Well, one of the stories is you heard the new Ram 1500 EcoDiesel is going to be rated at 33 miles per gallon on the highway.
Good for them.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then they said that the Dakota name is going to come back.
Well, that's rumored.
The Maverick name is going to come back, and I got a story on that.
Oh, yeah. I saw
So
that.
we have a choice here. We can either do 5 tips for keeping your garage organized, or I can tell you about a tribute to Bruce Myers from the Historic Vehicle Association, father of the fiberglass dune buggy.
Oh, Daddy, tell us a tribute to
You wanna
Bruce
do that?
Myers.
Gather
Yeah.
around the fire,
The
kids.
Myers-Manx.
Born in Los Angeles, California in 1926, Bruce Myers grew up to become, in his words, a true beach bum, and led a life that would make him the archetypical father of the famed dune buggy. While skimming the beaches on sand sailors he built, That's what they used to call them. Myers started to notice the water pumpers, or early dune buggies crudely fabricated from stripped car chassis. Myers thought they looked fun and decided to build his own, but would use his fiberglass boat building skills to craft one of his own. So he observed the most capable vehicles on the sand were rear-engine Volkswagens, including his own Volkswagen bus.
Oh, I didn't realize he started as a
Fitted
bus.
with oversized flotation tires, he used his Little Red Riding bus to frequent the beaches of Baja and put it into action on the sand, pulling friends across the wake on water skis. With these experiences in mind, he decided to build a fiberglass buggy off of the air-cooled German vehicles and set out to make a few friends. And he did just that. It's quite the story, and I don't want to bore you with the entire thing, but starting with the scale clay model designed around the basic architecture of the Volkswagen Beetle, Myers built his buggy from scratch and handcrafted the fiberglass monocoque tub, one piece. He finished the first one for himself in 1964, nicknamed Old Red. He went on to construct a handful of models for friends, and upon seeing them, others began clamoring for Myers to start selling his fiberglass wonder car. His wife at the time, Shirley, worked for Road and Track magazine, and with the help,
I never knew that.
Yeah,
and with the help of editors of the publication, they came up with the name for the buggies, the Manx.
M-A-N-X.
M-A-N-X. And launched B.F. Myers and Company in 1967. The Myers Manx was available as a kit car, first using a monocoque body and labor as a fiberglass tub mated to a customer-sourced, shortened Volkswagen Beetle chassis and running gear. Despite building some 7,000 cars and recording over $1.5 million in sales in 1969, Myers was never able to protect and patent his design and eventually was forced out of the business in 1971 by the tidal wave of competitors looking to cash in on the trend that he launched.
But the Manx is quite a true Manx is quite collectible today.
The couple restarted the Manx brand in 1999 and continued to sell kits and complete cars built for none other than Myers himself until just recently. Truesdale Ventures purchased the company in 2020 from Myers to carry on the Manx legacy, so
Now,
you can still buy them.
The patent, he couldn't get a patent for it. Is it because he was using other existing products because of the patent?
I don't know. I would imagine that was probably part of the problem.
Couldn't get a patent or didn't get a patent.
Probably couldn't.
Did he just not chase
no,
the
because
patent?
you can get a
You
patent,
can get a patent
on the same stuff. You just uniquely read.
Well, a design
Exactly.
patent would be something.
Yeah,
might be what
because
was available.
to be honest, I had one of those copies. It wasn't his, but I mean, it was slightly different, and you could look at it.
You want to see the original?
Did it say how much? Did it say how much he was selling them for?
You'll have to do the tight shot here.
Yeah, right
Mike.
there. You got it.
Okay. Ready? I don't know whether you can see this or not.
Yeah. So the one that I had and the one that Larry had, there was a little difference in the front fenders, and there was just a very minor difference in it.
But that is the quintessential dune buggy.
Correct.
Everybody loved, and then as the market understood how popular it was, every other little swinging hoo-ha jumped in there to build
Swinging hoo-ha.
You could buy the body. I mean, the body was relatively cheap. It was, you had
But
to buy
that was
Volkswagen and cut
that
it
was
down.
the attraction of it. It was the fact that the simplicity of it, and they told you how to cut up basically a frame of a Beetle, and you threw together some stuff, and he sold it as a kit, and there you go.
That was history.
7,000 later.
Go like that across the screen.
Wouldn't you love to have one of the originals today?
Oh yeah, they're quite collectible. And then the gel coat paint they used with the big flake in it, I guess,
Looked like a boat.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
his
sense,
boat
'cause
building skills.
he came with from a boating history.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that you would enjoy that.
Cool story.
Yeah.
So do you
Lots of
happen
cool
to
memories.
have This Week in Auto History, sir?
Yeah. Is it that time?
Give me a one.
Well, according to my schedule, it is that time.
Okay. Well, if it's that time, let's see if this
Because we
week's-
know how you like to expand
Embellish.
on the story and embellish
so a
things.
couple
This
extra
week in
minutes.
auto history
Dun,
is
dun,
on
dun.
fire. and you'll understand that as we go through some of this.
There's the fire.
In 1901, a fire destroyed Oldsmobile Motor Works factory in Detroit, Michigan. An Oldsmobile employee actually pushed out. Go back to that curve dash.
We lost the screen for a second, gentlemen.
Okay, go back to the curve dash. So he actually pushed out one of like 11 prototypes that they had before the fire consumed everything else within the building. So after he pushed out that curve dash, that was the only vehicle that was left, and that went on to become the company's production model, was the original Oldsmobile curve dash, and that's tiller steered. So you had a stick in the middle that you steered the vehicle with. Quite a popular car. They sold quite a few of them through the years, but the reason that model was chosen was because everything else had burned in the fire, and then it
was the only thing left.
Right, it was the only thing left. In 1902, the American Automobile Association was organized, and I just thought that was kind of.
And I guess that's the original logo. We love logos.
Logo. Yeah, well, there's a couple other logo things, but not nearly as good as Jeff's. So
you mean with the Hyundai?
Yeah, the Hyundai logo. So in 1916, the manufacturing firm of Karl Rapp and Gustav Otto merged to become.
Oh my God!
To become BMW Aircraft Works. And which eventually became BMW's Automobile Works. But originally, BMW was the manufacturer of airplane engines, hence the propeller.
What does BMW stand for?
British Motor Works.
No, it's Bayerische Motor Workie. I'm sure.
Where did you find that?
It's German.
It's BAYERISCHE Motor.
Bavarian Motor Works.
Well, Bavarian Motor Works is what it is today.
Do they make the little sausages?
But the blue and white is actually a symbol of a propeller in the original BMW logo. So, again, the fire piece of that is they were building engines for airplanes in World War I and World War II, so they were firing at us. In 1929, a fire destroyed the Los Angeles Auto Show, and over 320 cars were destroyed, and I thought this is a pretty interesting car. This is the Auburn Motor Company's cabin Speedster that was lost in the fire.
That's kind of cool looking for the time.
For back in 1929.
It looks like something that used to race at Myers Speedway.
I thought it kind of looked like something that might have raced at Indy as well.
Yeah, it looks like a Carroll Shelby from the firewall back.
Yeah, and you got to think, it probably had a pretty big engine in it and stuff. So in 1932, again staying with this theme of fire, the Communist Party of America organized a March on Hunger in downtown Detroit, and they marched all the way over to the Ford Company's River Rouge plant to protest labor laws and labor practices there by Henry Ford.
You sure that's not Portland?
Did Henry even care?
Well, here comes the fire part. When the police and firemen were unable to disperse the crowds with with fire hoses, they actually opened fire on them with guns and killed 4 people. So, again, back to the story of fire. The first Mustang rolled off the assembly line this week in 1964.
Jeff is having finger problems.
I am.
Well,
absolutely.
we thought we gave him enough time. So this is production serial number 001, and the first Mustang that was built. And it was built on March 9th of 1964, but the debut of the Mustang wasn't until April 7th at the 1964 World's Fair in Flushing Meadows, New York City. I was there as a 6-year-old child at the World's Fair. My mom worked for General Motors at the time, so I didn't pay any attention to what was going on at the Ford display. And then also in 1969, the Pontiac Firebird was introduced on this day.
That's not it.
Rolling.
The next picture is. The Pontiac Firebird was introduced on this day, and this week, and they made 697 versions of that Firebird. Gosh, Jeff, I thought 10 seconds was long enough. And they only made 8 convertibles. They actually know where 7 of those convertibles are. They're still hunting the 8th, which was probably destroyed somewhere.
Okay. You done now?
Kind of.
7 minutes later?
You told me I had time.
Okay. So here are some of the recalls this week. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Volvo XC40, 21 to 22 models. High voltage disconnect may cause drive power loss.
They're recalling 22 models, and they haven't even started building them yet.
Engine control model module malfunction on the Audi A8 and S8 from 19 through 21. Tire failure may cause sudden air loss. You think?
Is this Firestone?
No, I don't know what.
They've done it twice before.
This is a General Motors recall, and it's darn near everything from Buick to Cadillac to Chevrolet to GMC.
Catastrophic tire failure.
Yeah.
That's not a good day.
No, it's not a good day. Sounds like the Firestone fiasco with Ford years ago. High beam malfunction on Land Rovers. Lots of them.
Well,
high beam malfunction on a Jaguar F-Pace. Tire failure may cause sudden air loss on the Mercedes-Benz AMG and the GLE. Spark plugs may cause engine damage on the Mercedes-Benz AMG CLA 45 from the 2020 model year. Porsche Macan, it's being recalled from the 15 to the 18 model years for front passenger seat occupancy sensor. The mat may fail. I don't know what. Okay, the mat. I guess that's
manifold air temperature sensor.
Okay, seat occupancy sensor mat.
Oh, so that's the passenger seat.
You put your butt on.
That turns the airbag on and off.
And the Volkswagen Atlas from 2021. All that stuff is being recalled. Put in your VIN number at safercar.gov, and you'll find out if you are one of those.
And check often, because you need to probably check 2 or 3 times a year, because you never know when they're going to recall whatever it is you're driving.
They're constantly putting stuff out.
Okay, time now for a quick break. In-wheel time continues right after this.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, March 20th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods, all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off at a friends and family event at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 20th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy. The In-Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, March 20th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In-Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In-Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's In-Wheel Time. Coming up, we talk to the vice president of the Houston Auto Show, and if she's not, we just made her that, Rochelle Salinas, who'll have some exciting news for us. Jeff is going to review our pre-owned car of the week, the 2018 Mini Cooper. We'll have a look at some of the upcoming racing events you might be interested in, plus Conrad's Car Clinic and the stories making auto news headlines. That and more just ahead on today's In-Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, March 13th. 2021. Howdy. Along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin in the corner, Don Armstrong here. So glad you could join us today. Let's just get right to it, shall we? Rochelle Salinas, Houston Auto Show. And I'm not even going to say anything, but I'm just going to let you go ahead and just take it from here.
Well, thank you. Good morning, guys.
And good morning.
I'm excited to be talking with you because we haven't been able to speak for a while because I haven't had any news to share. But I'm so excited to come on today and let you know that we're going to have a summer edition of the Houston Auto Show.
We're all applauding here in the studio.
The world debut of this.
Yes. So here,
That's right, the first ever.
Yeah, so you're hearing this first today here on the In-Wheel Time Show, that we're going to have a Houston Auto Show. When is it?
It's going to be May 19th through the 23rd, so we're still going to have a 5-day event. It is going to be a limited, specifically curated number of vehicles there. Things will be spaced out. We can't get all the manufacturers within the NRG Center at this time because the rodeo is still going to be using a portion of the venue. So we've got to share that space this year and have a little bit of a smaller show. But we're still excited to be able to put everything on. And actually, even though COVID is still around and people are taking precautions, and we will still require a lot of safety precautions at the event, we're really excited about the number of manufacturers we'll have, that you'll still be able to get inside and really be around all of the vehicles. We'll still have some test drive opportunities.
Oh, good.
So it's going to be a good summer auto show.
So who? Well, let's see. What question am I going to ask
so
first?
many questions.
So, are you going to limit the number of people that actually get into the show?
Well, the venue and the county have some stipulations on that, and so yes. But knowing our attendance in the past, I don't think we'll have a point in time that we'll actually need to limit the number of attendees.
Okay.
So we can have about roughly a little over 4,000 people in the venue at any one time.
That's a lot.
Because people come in and out, that is a lot of people. So the only time we really need to be concerned about that and really monitor it will be on the weekend, on those busy Saturday and Sunday. So we're really going to encourage attendance, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday this year for sure.
So you said you're going to have test drive opportunities available for attendees. What is that? The indoor or the outdoor test drive stuff?
So we won't have space for the indoor lounge this year. So we'll just have some select options in the front of the building. I know the Stellantis group will have some of their vehicles out. We'll have Ford and Subaru for sure doing test drives, and we will still have Camp Jeep and the Ram Track indoors.
And
good.
Yeah, and that is such a popular event there at Houston Auto Show, whether it's the outside test drives, but really Camp Jeep and the Ram experience is pretty awesome. Those are so much fun, and you can just see people waiting in line. The lines are going to be even longer this year because they're going to have to be 6 feet apart.
Right, and they've gotten very smart and innovation for how they can manage that too. So you can register in advance when you get to the show, so you don't have to stand in that line spaced out as well. So we're not taking up too much space and keeping people all in the same group.
Oh, okay.
And there'll be some new innovative ways that they're getting people in and out of those vehicles and making sure everything is sanitized and wearing masks with those professional drivers in that Camp Jeep experience.
So how did all of this come about? I mean, I know that when we originally talked late last fall, it didn't look like it was going to happen. And, all I can think of is that clearly something happened. And I thought it was pretty interesting that the governor lifted the mask mandate just recently, and now I'm hearing that, is it going to be a ball game up in Arlington Stadium where it's going to be open? Everybody is more than welcome to come for a couple of days during opening weekend up there, and things are starting to open up. Do you have any concerns, Rochelle? And how did this all come about?
So when we decided that we were not going to safely be able to conduct the January event, we canceled. And we sat back and said, okay, we'll just wait a year. The venue came to us and said, hey, we think we might be able to do May. And there's some dates in May open. We'll give you these dates and you can start planning for that. So we're like, great, let's start planning. So we start planning, and then the rodeo announces, we're not doing our event in March. We're going to move it to May. So then the rodeo took our dates, and we're like, okay, canceled again. Let's just sit back and start planning for 22. And then when the rodeo canceled again in May and is just going to be hosting the livestock auctions, the venue called again and said, okay, do you want these dates back? So we have been planning this auto show in less than 3 months, and it's going to be different. We're not going to have the preview night. We're not going to have some of our ancillary activities that we usually have. It's just going to be that consumer 5-day public event. And so we're excited to, come back and forth, be a little schizophrenic in our planning, but we're excited to be able to, welcome everyone back to the auto show again. And concerns, I think, we're really getting to a point with, especially in late May, that so many people will be vaccinated or have the antibodies. So culturally, I know people are really ready to get back into events.
Amen.
So we just have to do what we can to reduce any risk and still ask people to wear their masks, still do temperature checks and health screenings as we can when, people arrive at the event. So I don't feel much concern for that. I think the people that, want to come and feel healthy enough to be at the event will attend. And those that feel still at risk will decide to stay home, and we hope to see them in January.
How in the world did you manage to get the manufacturers on the phone and say, guess what?
We're back on.
We're back.
Well, that part of their divisions of the manufacturers, the auto show department, they still want to keep their job and continue to be in business, as well as all of the exhibitors that set up the auto show. So this is, it's as much about selling cars and getting back into the groove of events and people being able to gather as it is keeping business and industry going.
Yeah.
And, being able to provide jobs for the product specialists and these exhibit houses. This is part of what this first step into a limited event really is.
Well, hopefully, given it's a May show, maybe you'll get some 22 previews as well.
Well, I'm really excited. We got
I see that grin.
This week that we will definitely have the Ford Bronco.
Oh, wow.
It was already planned to be at the rodeo. And so now that the rodeo is not happening, we get to have the Bronco. And we will have the Jeep Wagoneer and the new electric Jeep Wrangler.
How exciting is that?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Also, something brand new from Kia is most likely going to be there. So we're still going to have those latest, greatest vehicles that are coming out.
So when we walk in the door, are we going to notice anything drastically different?
I think you will, because only about half the brands are going to be there, being honest and transparent. So that is going to be different. It is going to be a reduced space, so you won't see the indoor ride and drive lounge. But I think when you first walk in the door, you're still going to see Ford there. You're still going to have Camp Jeep and the Ram Track in the back. There is going to be a limited number of the aftermarket exhibitors because, sadly, a lot of those just don't have the finances or the staff to be able to attend an event just yet.
Right.
They're still recovering. So that will be a bit different. But other than that, being able to sit inside each vehicle, really look it over, talk to the product specialists, all of those essence of the auto show will still remain.
So my guess is that there won't be many Mexican vacations for you between now and May 23rd.
No, I'm not going on any vacations.
Well, because I would imagine that since this is, typically you would have almost an entire year
to prepare,
yeah.
And now you've only had a couple of months so far.
And
that's right. So there's a lot of planning going into cramming into 3 months.
Well, and then the off again.
And
Go ahead.
A lot of new things that we have to think about. So all tickets will be online, and if you show up to the show without a ticket, you'll have to purchase your ticket with a QR code. There won't be box offices. So, learning and implementing those new technologies also in these 3 months is definitely a challenge, but something I think we've all learned in this past year is you've got to have hustle and just dive right in, and that's what we're doing to be able to make the show happen.
Well, when we first learned about this, I know that Mike had been talking to you, and Mike and I had been talking as well, and what we can do because of other commitments that we've got. And I told Mike, I said, why don't we try and do a Friday show with her? And it'll be new for us to do an actual Friday show because we've already got a Saturday show planned, and it'll be an extra bonus that we can start promoting that we're going to do a Friday show from the car show from, I don't know, I guess have we officially decided that it's going to be noon to 3? Or I don't know yet. But at any rate, we're going to do a show specifically for the Houston Auto Show, which we typically do on our Saturday, but it's going to be on a Friday, and I thought that would be pretty cool for us. It'll be a first for us, kind of like this new format that you've got for this particular year, the downsize, and I just think that it will be really neat for us to be there on a Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to have you guys out on a Friday for you to, see that crowd and be able to invite everyone out for the weekend too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So as soon as you get some commercials together, or you give me some copy, you let me know and we'll start running them.
Well, we just approved some of that creative yesterday, so we'll be on the lookout soon for all of our marketing because now we've got to ramp things up pretty quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of people need to know, like what you're talking about, how to get the tickets. That's going to be very different for a lot of people.
Is the price going to be the same?
Actually, we're most likely reducing the ticket price this year to $12.
Wow.
And the children under 6 will be free, but it'll be a one ticket price only, $12 for everyone.
Got it.
That's a steal.
Simple.
Yeah. That's good. And, you know, I, to be honest with you, just off the top of my head, those manufacturers that are not going to show up, I don't know as if, I mean, I guess some will be missed, but you're going to have the big players there like you have in the past. And I would imagine that those players are the ones that probably sell the most cars anyway.
Right. Well, and I'll say that the ones that are not going to be there, they're all for making different reasons, but part of it is that just COVID safety, and they have people traveling from all over the country to be able to participate in our show, which makes it very complicated for them to attend. And then second, just with everything that has happened, there's big inventory issues, and being able to have vehicles that they wanted to show and display at the show is very challenging. And we're seeing that with a number of brands. Also, there's a big microchip for the computer in the vehicle problem, so they can't get the vehicles. It contributes to that inventory issue. So some of the brands that will be there, you'll see that it's actually the dealer body group representing them from our Houston market, and we're so glad to have their support because all of what we do as the Houston Auto Show funds the Houston Auto Dealers Association, which is everything we give back to the community through scholarships, the motorist assistance program for free roadside assistance, technician training, all of the things we do in the community. So it's really a great show of support when those dealer bodies are stepping up and setting up displays at the auto show instead of those OEMs for this particular summer event.
And, you know, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that most people that attend the auto show, and including us, we really don't realize and think about all of the things that Houston Automobile Dealers Association does behind the scenes. And, you know, to put on the Houston Auto Show once a year, there's a tremendous amount of work. And not only that, but, I mean, you've got your own full-time staff there that you work on this show all year round, kind of like the rodeo does. They've got a full-time staff, even though that the rodeo is only 3 weeks out of the year. It takes a lot of effort to put on a show.
Yeah, it does. It takes a full team and lots of planning and coordination. And, you know, like you said, you know, we're a nonprofit, and what other nonprofits have fundraising events, and they have galas and balls and auctions. The Houston Auto Show is our gala and ball. It is our fundraiser for the Houston Auto Dealers Association. So that's why it is so important for us to have this summer event, even if it is a limited edition.
Well, speaking of that, let's shift gears for just a minute and ask you, how are the dealers doing? I know that car sales actually started picking up at the beginning of the year, and it's going gangbusters, but like you mentioned, there are some real obstacles, and mainly inventory is the biggest one.
Yeah, you know, it's been very interesting with the car dealer business, and they're so fluid and, you know, just have learned to operate very lean. And, you know, that happened back in 2008 with the market crash. And so they really took some learned lessons there and got successfully through this COVID scenario as best as they could. And sales have been good, like you said. And if they weren't in new cars, they're in used car sales. Used car sales have also been really phenomenal for the dealers. But now we are facing and really seeing that lag in manufacturing, where the manufacturers had to stop to make ventilators or PPP products. And with, you know, all of the export issues, we've seen an inventory issue being a really big deal. And I mean, you can drive by a dealership and see that their lots are not
space
as full as they usually are.
And with Houston being such a truck-centric market, when Ford and General Motors are having to shut down pickup truck production because of chip availability, that's painful. But I'm real glad to see the dealers jump back in and push the Houston Auto Show and support it on their own, where some of the manufacturers couldn't. That's great. That shows how much value they see in the show.
Absolutely, and we're really proud of that. And yeah, but the consumer demand for buying vehicles is definitely there. You know, if it's through the stimulus checks or they're the essential employees, people still want to buy new cars.
And they're supposed to be getting checks this weekend.
Woohoo!
That's right. So we'll see another uptick in sales.
So, Rochelle, I would imagine that, you know, with this big push behind the Houston Auto Show and making this thing happen, that you've done a lot of research in the number of people that come to the show and why they come to the show. Do you see that the actual need, the want, the pent-up demand for people getting out, for one, and to going to a new car show, do you see that has actually increased or remained the same? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, over the last couple of years, it's been a small but steady increase of attendance to the auto show, and definitely people wanting that consumer experience of being able to compare right there on the show floor. And I think coming out of COVID, just from a pure example, the Oklahoma City Auto Show happened last week. And they were really, kind of like, what's going to happen? Are people going to show up? Are they going to wear their masks? How is it going to turn out? And they were extremely pleased. They had an increase of attendance. People wanted to be at the show, and the majority of people wore their masks. And when asked to put them back on, they did so. So it's really inspiring to hear that. And it makes me feel really good about what our show can be in the next 2 months, especially in May when things continue to improve.
Well, I'm sure that the city and the county are going to ask that everybody wear their mask at your show, because I know that from being in the news business that both the mayor and the county judge, they're not really too thrilled about the releasing of the mask mandate. But on the other hand, too, the governor is leaving it up to the cities and the counties to put their own restrictions in place, and I think that it's important, and I think that also that I think most people have gotten used to it now, and it's really not that big of a deal. You want me to wear the mask? Sure, no problem.
And that's what we hope the behavior will be too, because yes, we're still going to ask people to wear their masks. And, it's not just for everyone's safety. It's because those are the rules, and we want to stay in business.
Right.
We want to make sure that we have a successful event and that everyone is there successfully. And so, it's not much to ask to be able to do that.
And it's not like we don't know how to do it. We haven't been doing it for a year, so it's really not that big a deal at this point. Especially getting in a crowd of, so many people you don't know, it just makes sense.
Well, and I watch my granddaughters, which are teenagers. To them, it's no big deal. I mean, they don't balk about it. They just pick it up and they go.
Yeah.
And
I
think
my 3-year-old is the same.
Exactly.
We can hear them in the background.
I'm sorry.
Oh, zooming at home is so much fun.
Well, at least he's not walking a guy in his diaper at this time.
Me neither.
Yeah, Jeff's not either.
That's
so
the reason Jeff's in the corner.
That's why we've got that to be thankful for. So when do tickets go on sale?
That's a good question. I think it's going to be about the first week of May. We'll have tickets on sale via Ticketmaster, and then when you show up at the show, you can buy them using a QR code. So please bring your phone. Don't forget your credit card. Make sure you know your credit card number. That is probably my biggest fear of the learning curve of people buying tickets by QR code. But anyone that's gone to a restaurant in the last 9 months has learned how to use a QR code.
Right.
So I have faith, and we'll have support teams there to walk people through the process if we need it.
Well, and that'll be the thing, because there will be some people that are going to need some help. I mean, they can do the QR code, but
Don Armstrong is going to need some help.
How do I put my credit card in through the QR code? Yeah, it'll be interesting.
So I assume that HoustonAutoShow.com is going to have all of that information. You're going to update that as to when the tickets will be available and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, I would say be patient. We're still updating it because like I said, we're cramming everything into such a short time frame, and things are changing every single day, every minute. So, we'll start really updating that, as well as our social media pages. So make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll have, updates about the show and things that you'll be able to expect to see, a list of our manufacturers that are supporting us, and all of that soon to come.
We're just thrilled to have you back.
Yeah, exactly. Are we on the PR list for you to send out the news releases and that sort of stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we'll be able to pass that along to our viewers, our listeners as well. Okay. So $12 tickets, May 19th through the 23rd. May 19th through the 23rd. Houston Auto Show is back, baby. Woo-hoo. We're all excited, and I know you are too, because we're all excited that things are finally coming back. It's such a relief to know that I'll be able to do something. I'm so
Well,
tired of
you'll be
sitting
able
at
to
home.
go to the
Something on the
show.
calendar.
Yeah, you'll be able to go to the show. We still haven't figured out if you can do anything.
That's true.
He's got to get those red pumps waxed.
That's right. I'll be sitting.
Get
I'll
them
be
out of the closet.
sitting
They're
in the lobby like a bowl of Jello out there. Yeah, exactly. Well, Rochelle, it's always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. I know you got family obligations, and it's really appreciative that you take the time for our little old show here in Houston, Texas. By the way, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Just wanted you to know that.
Thank you and congratulations. I appreciate you guys always supporting us and being a part of our story.
Well, we love you and everybody involved with the show, and we're really looking forward to it. And we will talk to you before the show once again.
And we've got your
Absolutely.
Facebook page on our Facebook page as well, so we've shared you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Talk to
Okay.
you later, hon. Rochelle Salinas, Houston Auto Show. Hey, it's time now for, are you ready?
No.
You're not ready yet.
No.
How come we're not ready yet? Because, they've got to make the switch. So Jeff's got to pass. It's a complicated thing. You know,
It's called hand me that.
yeah. So you wonder why we've all got laptops here, and I've actually got an audio console over here, because each of us have our own little thing that we have to do during the show. Mr. Mars is the Zoom guy. Conrad, we're still not sure what he does, but he looks like he's busy.
I keep myself busy.
He's our technical geek.
Yeah, he does all the Facebook and the social media stuff.
I need an assistant in my contract for the 11th year.
And you know what? You've got a granddaughter, and
Yeah.
she needs to come up here and help Grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And his friends.
That's right. All right, time now for our pre-owned car. No, we're gonna wait on that because we have to do the racing cal. We've already done the racing.
already done
cal.
Did the
Racing
racing
calendar.
earlier.
Here, let
Did
me.
you forget your Prevagen this week?
No, I didn't, because we did it out of order because we were looking for something to fill the time. So we did that. All right, so time now for the pre-owned car of the week. And Mr. Zekin over there is going to talk about the 2018 Mini Cooper.
2018 Mini Cooper. It's a base model. The model is available at the base, the S, the John Cooper Works, the 2-door hardtop, the 4-door hardtop, and a 2-door convertible. So you've got all that listed in it. It is the base model that we're doing right now. It is a subcompact 4-passenger vehicle. Exterior features, obviously you've got the chrome accents around the grille. You've got the nice spoked wheels. You can have some racing stripes on it if you wish. Two-tone yellow paint, in this case on the bottom side, and you've got the color, different color top roof. Chrome accents, like I said. You got color bumper fascias. You've got lip spoilers, if you so desire. Fog lamps, heated exterior mirrors, interior highlights, and we're going to kind of roll through this with the pictures there.
And a surprisingly large interior in the
Yes.
Mini Cooper. I mean,
Yes.
I'm
But you're
actually
getting
comfortable
ahead.
in
You're
the
getting
inside of
you're
one
getting
of those.
ahead.
No. Well, we're fine. And
said
you can see the
interior.
styling. It is, and of course, it's got a large door. You have large doors also for the access egress in the vehicle. Here we go on the interior. You've got steering wheel pod mounted controls. You've got a CD player, 6 speakers, power door locks, telescoping wheel. Everything's mounted in there. It's got a nice little pod that you see there, which is
I like the round pod.
I do as well.
Very, very much of a signature piece for the Minis.
Well, in the very beginning,
Mirror,
it was
mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them? It kind of looks like that, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Get your little doggy too.
That's a different. That's a different.
It's a
show.
different witch.
But in the very beginning, the pod was just the speedometer in the very, very beginning. So I think that's pretty cool. Power seats, cruise control, everything's mounted there, either in that slight pod hand gesture away. Good seating on that. This
Yes.
happens to be the just a cutaway of it. And
What a fun car!
Oh, yeah.
it is. It is a fun little car. It's like a go-kart.
Yep.
Like a little go-kart with
they
doors.
handle pretty well.
Absolutely. It's a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder direct injection. Horsepower is 189 horsepower at 4,700 RPM. Torque is 207 foot-pounds of torque at 1,250.
Now the John Cooper Works option, it bumps it up a little bit.
Turbo.
Yes, it does.
They put a turbo on it.
There is a turbo, and then in some cases you can get a twin turbo, but that's down the road for more of a racing because it's. And I've got it listed here that you can get a twin turbo option in it. But a 6-speed overdrive transmission in a manual, which I think is very cool. City rating is 28 miles per gallon. Highway's 38, combined 32. But If you're
That's
using
good,
a go-kart, you could probably get you can get a little more, a little less, depending on how you drive it, obviously. 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds at 153 mile per hour top speed rating on it. It's got an 11.6 gallon gas tank. Go-kart feel. Small in traffic, and especially here in Houston, you got the big trucks. And you got
let's look at the logos.
What can you tell us about the logos?
We're getting there in just a second. But they average between $21,000 and $36,000, depending on if you get the John Cooper or the base model.
And that's used.
And that's used right around 42,000 miles. But yeah, they're popular. You do see them. It is what it is so far as a little car. But getting to this picture, the logos were developed in 1959 as a result of the gas crisis that wreaked havoc on the automobile industry. The Mini Cooper has been a staple of efficiency in small packages. Of course, the three main design elements of the Mini Cooper logo are wings, the circle, and the word Mini.
But I see Austin on there. Is that Austin, Texas?
Austin Healey in Austin back in the day, where the Cooper was
as Mini has gone through different associations with manufacturers.
Exactly, it's sort of like the parents and then the children and then the cousins and so on as it goes. They're like the family tree.
Because the family tree now for Mini, the foundation of that tree is BMW.
Correct, and we're about to say that since the Mini and the Mini Cooper logo became part of BMW, the brand and Mini emblem were redesigned and given the new life and popularity. So once they got on board with BMW, the popularity of Mini, plus in the States, they've got their own independent dealerships and so on. But just like the word represents, the font in the Mini is written in the middle of the emblem. It is reliable, minimalist. That's the word. Effective and completely unostatious.
Anastasius. I'll have to look that one up. That one would pass me.
Is that kind of like...
Anna who?
Anna kind of
yeah. What was
on
that?
account of I don't understand.
What was that thing with the Three Stooges? Onomatopoeia? Whatever that... Sorry.
The end.
Hey, the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, at InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break. Stay with us.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, March 20th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto-mods, all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off at a friends and family event at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 20th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, March 20th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. Hello, everybody. Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, this is the In Wheel Time Car Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Along with Mike out of this world Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin in the corner, Don Armstrong here. So glad that you could join us on this Saturday show. Weather is beautiful down here in the south part of the United States called Houston, Texas, and we are glad that you could join us today. Everybody's in a really good mood. Right now, we are going to shift our attention to a fellow by the name of Rob Hester, and he is part... Rob, you're sideways. Did you realize that?
Can you rotate your camera for us,
I think he's
Rob?
on landscape, but there you go. There you go.
Dun, dun, dun.
You're looking good now, Rob. Yeah. So anyway, thanks so much. Rob is with Flat Out Auto.
Can I share with you how we got here?
Yes, please do.
A friend of mine does delivery service, and he was out at Houston Intercontinental Airport at I think it was the Turkish Airlines cargo location delivering something. And he sends me pictures of what these guys built in Arkansas that are shipping overseas. So we did that and did a little search and did a little this and that, and I gave the connection to Mars. So we have Rob on the air with us right now.
Well, Rob, it's a real pleasure, and I really appreciate the nice introduction that you sent us as far as all of the stuff that you guys do out there at Flat Out Auto. Where exactly are you in Arkansas, Rob?
We're located in Jonesboro, Arkansas, northeast.
Oh, yeah.
Been there.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Houston, Texas, and the world, because we are a worldwide broadcast, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your Saturday to join us. So what Conrad is alluding to is what looks like a K5 Blazer. Now, I'm not exactly sure how you would describe the K5. I don't even know what years the K5 was made. Maybe perhaps that you could fill us in on that, Rob.
Yes, 69 was the first year for the K5 Blazer, and it ran the same body style ran through 72. We ended up on the first one we unveiled at SEMA in 19. We used the 68 C10 grill for a couple of reasons. One, we liked the slope back hood. We felt like it blended well with the windshield rake, as well as we wanted to utilize the two-tone grill because we really wanted to accent the vintage look, and that's one of the reasons we used that.
That's
did the
cool.
white top to kind of not to replicate 100%, but to kind of at least pay homage to the original lift-off roof of the original K5s.
Yeah, and this one doesn't have a lift-off roof on it, but the way that you guys have got it painted and the detail that you have gone to with the the door sides on it. I mean, all of the things, and I'm going to let you describe all of the things that you do to it. So what do you do with a base vehicle? What kind of a vehicle is it that you use to make the conversion?
Our conversions are based off a 2015 to 2020 Tahoe. And the ones that you got your buddy saw in Houston at the air cargo, that was one of our first orders. It was a large order. It was for 4 identical 2020 Tahoe, K5 Tahoes, and it was for the royal family in Abu Dhabi. So for us, for a small shop in Arkansas, that was a pretty big ask, and it was also a big honor. I mean, we felt like it was an opportunity for us to showcase what we could do. And we actually went into production at the beginning of 2020, right in time for COVID to hit.
Yeah.
But it slowed us down a little bit, but it allowed us to actually focus on some of the things that we felt like was most important for our conversions. And it's the fact that we want them to be as close to production vehicles as we possibly can. They're built one at a time. They're built by hand. And I'm in the shop here today, so when we get a little bit, I'll actually give you a little tour. We've got a couple in production. One, it's just about finished up in metalwork, and then the other is actually torn all the way down. To kind of show you how far we go all the way down on these things before we bring them back and finish them up.
Well, when reading the bio here on the company and the things that you do, I was thoroughly impressed because, I mean, you guys make your own door skins. And
that's correct.
Yeah, and the front fenders are modified. There's really not too much that's left untouched by y'all's hands up there.
That's correct. We have a great group of guys. They're super talented. They love what we're doing, and it makes it fun to be able to kind of push the bounds and be able to when we first started this project, we thought we'd be able to build our own door skins. Probably that was a big ask, but we've been able to do it. We took the time. We wanted to be able to replicate these parts. That's the other thing that we, with our first order being for the royal family and they were going to be delivered on the other side of the earth, having the ability to be able to replicate a part and not have to have the vehicle in-house was a pretty big deal for us. So we built jigs, fixtures to be able to replicate these parts so that if we needed to send a door skin on the other side, to ship it out, we can.
So are the things that immediately catch your eye being the grill and the tailgate of them? I understand the tailgate, I think I read, is carbon fiber?
Yeah, actually, if you want, I can give you. I've got one out here, and
We'd love
you
to
wanna
see
kinda
it.
do a little
Yeah.
quick
Yeah.
walk around.
And then on the grill, is that all fabricated by you, or is that GM parts that you put on the front of it?
The only part that we can use without modification is the grill.
That's cool.
Period.
That's cool.
That's
The grill and the front bumper actually are two parts that we can actually replicate and reuse without having to modify. The bumper we have to modify for the parking sensors, but that's one of the things that we did as well. We were very adamant about keeping every single function that come on the Tahoe functional. All safety features, not only that, but everything, even the parking assist, the blind spot, the lane keep assist, the rear cameras, the hands-free hatch, relocating all of those things that posed a bit of a problem because a lot of those things are hidden behind, those sensors are hidden behind plastic bodywork.
Right.
And we couldn't do that obviously because all of our bodywork is steel. So
right.
That took a little time to be able to replicate those and relocate those sensors and recalibrate them. But like I said, my guys are awesome here in the shop, and they've been able to do that.
So Rob, let's go take a look. But while we're walking over there, I have to ask you: when I buy one of these conversions from you, does it still maintain the original title with the late model Tahoe on it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a brand new. The four that we shipped out only had delivery miles. They had I think 100, 120 miles on them. We bought them, and those were being exported, so we had to buy them, title them, and then sell them as a pre-titled vehicle since they were being exported. But no, some of ours, a couple of these, the one we're looking at here is actually for a Chevy dealer up in New Hampshire. It's going to be his personal vehicle. It was a Premier Edition 2020 Tahoe with 6.2. So
I love you. You even do the side marker lights like it came off of the 70 model as well. That's just down to that infinitesimal detail. Yep. This is visually a 70 model.
On our quarter here, we basically take a bedside. It has to get modified. The wheel opening is much larger on these vehicles, so even the wheel arch is modified to extend that out. We also extend the rear quarters down a little bit to pull them down because that's the difference. These new vehicles are so much taller than the stock vehicles of the old K5s. And we actually, and I'll show you on another vehicle in the back, it's an Denali, where we actually are attaching the rear quarters to it. We bond in a bonding strip, and then we reattach the new skin to that. And it kind of gives you an idea on the rear hatch, the difference between the stock hatch and the new. It's that much wider than the original. And this one, we had just started some body work on the rear quarter. And you see our door skins. And these are our door handles. This is something that, when I say we go above and beyond, this is one of the things that we did. We could have done the simple thing and just retrofitted a reproduction door handle. But what we've done is actually built our own that functions just like the new Tahoe.
But look like the retro.
Old style, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it's got the push button.
And the button in the center is our passive keyless entry. And this is inner workings. We are reusing the stock button from the new Tahoe.
Wow. How
actually
cool
incorporating
is that?
that.
Well, that takes a lot of craftsmanship, but it also takes people who understand the technology that are in these 2020 model vehicles because it was a challenge.
That's
because hard.
Even on the passive keyless entry, the stock Tahoes have an antenna in the door handle that's a proximity sensor that only allows the button to work when you get within 3 feet of it.
Right.
That's another challenge we ran into with steel is we actually had to relocate it, and this one we haven't relocated, but on our vehicles we're relocating those sensors in this pillar here behind the plastic trim. It works just like it does from the factory. But everything as a show, when I open it up, we modify the door structure to meet the new profile, and then we wrap the skin around with a hammer and dolly.
Oh my gosh!
Just like it's put on from the factory.
So the interior door panel, everything fits back.
Yes, sir. And here's one of our skins for the rear hatch. The rear hatch, we mentioned that, it's aluminum. The stock Tahoes are aluminum, the Yukons and Ollie. and they do that for weight savings.
Right.
And the technology in these vehicles is crazy. You know, you change the weight of that hatch a little bit, and it doesn't work right because it does it for safety reasons. So what we found is carbon was almost the exact same weight when we got it bonded on as the aluminum skin, and it allows us to have. And we actually built the mold, actually built the buck, and had a mold made. And we have a company in Michigan that makes us exclusively for us. We own the rights, we own the molds to replicate these carbon skins that go on the back. We essentially take the stock tailgate skin off and just bond this right on in place.
How cool.
And the camera gets located in the hatch, in the door handle location, along with the hatch release and the glass release.
I want to know how you came up with this concept. You're sitting around with the all the engineers, and you hold my beer, watch this type thing. How did you come up with this?
Well, it was just an idea. A good friend of mine that I'm partners with in our shop, he had the idea of doing this, and we felt like if we were going to try to do it, it is crazy expensive. It's not cheap, what we do, and we felt like that the Tahoe was the best format to do that with. And pickup, it gets really expensive. It gets really hard to justify. But when you got a vehicle you can replace a daily driver with, and you've got new Range Rovers and Escalades that break that six-figure number on the lot, and they lose half that value in a matter of a month or two, after they're driven, we felt like an SUV was the best format for that.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons we use this.
Absolutely. The ironic thing was when Steve had posted these pictures from out there at the airport, was the same weekend of Lone Star Throwdown. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a
I do. One of our metal fab guys was there.
It would have been great to have driven one of these things through there to show them, because what a stunning looking vehicle they are in person.
Well,
yeah,
I would. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I'll go ahead and kind of show you around in the back, and then if you guys have any other specifics, we're actually getting ready to go. We're headed out next week to Barrett-Jackson. This is an 84 C10 with 35,000 original miles. Actually, one owner from Killeen,
wow,
yeah,
Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
right.
Our guys in our shop are phenomenal guys, and this is original paint that we actually Trizact and buffed. And
wow,
it's phenomenal what this thing looks like. But we're taking this, and we've got a 67 Corvette Resto mod that we're actually taking to Barrett-Jackson.
I saw that. I also saw your 58 Corvette that you sold at Barrett-Jackson a couple of years ago? Oh my gosh, the work you guys do is stunning, over and above what you're doing on the Tahoes and such. But I
appreciate that. That's really where we kind of got our start. Our passion was in Corvette Resto mods, and we started building those for years. A good friend of mine, Jamie Jarvis, super talented guy, and we both have the ability to take on more than we probably should, and it kind of sometimes it works out. So
how many orders? How many orders do you have for this K5 that you're building now?
We have two more here. We actually have one more order that hasn't got in here. They hadn't shipped the vehicle into us yet. Multiple people. We really didn't start marketing this short of SEMA and Barrett-Jackson and Scottsdale last year. We had a booth there. We actually unveiled it out there as well, and kind of covered that other segment of the market.
Well, go ahead.
We're not wanting to do a punch. We're thinking, 10 or 15 units a year is probably all we're really looking at, because we still have a lot of other things that we like to do, and we like to do these. We don't want to look at doing massive and multiple, pushing these out the door. We like building relationships with our clients, and by saying that, this 66 Fastback here is actually one of the clients, the Yukon Denali that's over there and fixing to get under the knife right now. This was their vehicle. They asked us to do a restoration on it and do the paint. So we feel like that building those relationships is really most important for us. But here's kind of the behind the scenes on what we do and how far we take these vehicles down. Like I said, this is a 2020 Yukon Denali. we essentially take the rear skins off. This is the bonding strip I was referring to earlier.
Yes.
The door skins are, we don't butcher these vehicles. We take them apart slowly. We actually take the skins off.
So you roll the edge off the skins, yeah.
And then the profile gets modified to match the new profile of the door skin.
To add that hip in the door skin that
That's
factory
correct.
car has, right?
Everything on the front, we just essentially one of the things kind of neat on these is these vehicles, they literally come apart. The front cap comes off, really similar to what we're used to in these old K5s and C10s of the day. Take a few bolts and you can take the entire front cap off. And we essentially replace all that. But we leave the vehicle, and we never touch it. The actual, it's still running and driving the whole time. We never actually touch anything on the running gear at all. And but you can see, from that, what we do. I'll show you my door skin. This is kind of the thing that was where we kind of got a little more focused on early on, is we wanted to be able to build a one-piece door skin. The reproduction skins are about 6 inches too short, and they're not long enough down the door skin. So we felt like the only way we would be happy with it is to actually build our own. So we took the time, we figured out how to roll and break the door profile in-house. And then after we had the profile, we had to be able to actually build a buck to be able to roll the lip.
So you can duplicate
This is the first time we've ever shown any of this on anything. We've never posted it on social media or anything. So kind of wanted to show you guys kind of a little bit of background. And essentially we had to build this profile of the buck is the exact profile of the door.
Okay.
And then we hand hammer and roll that lip down. And then actually once the modification is made to the door structure, then we can actually roll it around the door structure and it's attached.
Absolutely genius.
How many hours do you have in one of these?
I really don't want to think about that.
I'm thinking an in-wheel time machine.
Yeah,
K5 in-wheel time machine.
The funny thing is it's the hours to build, but when you look at the hours it took them to design and to build these bucks and stuff, that just multiplies it by what you.
And one other little tiny thing, the little dimple in the door. That doesn't happen very easily. This is essentially how we do it.
That's your dimple maker?
Yes, that's a dimple maker. So we essentially had this milled, and we sandwich the skin in once we get it rolled.
Wow.
Whack it with a hammer?
Press it.
That's right.
Oh,
it gets hammered in, and that's it. That's the magic.
Well, I'll tell you, they're breathtaking. And like I said, my friend out at the airport, when he sent this to me, it kind of created a little bit of a buzz. And then that's how we ended up chasing you down. I'll tell you, they are stunning looking examples of a K5 Blazer on a 2020 Tahoe.
But, one thing that I wanted, because our listeners and our viewers would want to know, so how much does this cost? And I'll be honest with you.
I was afraid to ask.
When I saw the price for the conversion, I was shocked, not because of how high it was, but because of how cheap it was, based on what we just saw with all of the work that you put into this.
Yeah, our conversion is $69,950. It's basically a $70,000 conversion, and that, like I said, it is a lot. But when you actually know what goes into it, it's a lot of work.
Well,
it's a good value. I don't think it's high. I think there's a good value for the end
particularly
product.
Like you said, comparing it to what else is out there in that size and caliber from Range Rover and whoever else that anybody can have.
New school, you got new technology with old school styling.
Yeah. Exactly.
It is absolutely brilliant what you've done and what you've put together here. And it takes a lot to impress me over the years, as long as I've been involved.
As long as he's been around.
And I have to tell you that, who would have thought about mixing the carbon fiber tailgate with hand dollied door skins?
Exactly.
And to be able to think through making an old school grill fit on a late model vehicle, that takes somebody that's pretty brilliant in my mind.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a group effort here. Our guys are phenomenal, and I can't say enough about them. they've been great working with us. There's been some challenging times when we didn't think we could figure out a solution for a problem, but like I said, my partner Jamie, he's one that's he's adamant that we're not going to cut a corner. We're going to do it right, or we're not going to do it. And that's essentially what it boils down to. And there's not a lot of money to be made in each of these, but one of the things that we found, and it's actually been really nice, is that how many relationships we've built because of this project that we've been able to do. And we love it. It's a passion project for us, and we've got lots of new, very just as groundbreaking as this in the works that we're not ready to share yet. But
when you are, give us a call.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you are, give us a call. We'd love to share it with the world through this medium.
Absolutely.
Because I'll tell you, your draw of the styling cues of the original K5 are spot on.
Can we be your we want to be your agent? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, it is a true honor and pleasure to talk to you. When I saw this, I read the bio here that I got about Flat Out Auto. I was thoroughly impressed, and all of us have been looking forward to the interview with you and to see the kind of work that you turn out and how pristine your shop is. I mean, I can see Chevrolet coming up with a new department just for you and your vehicles over there.
Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate the opportunity, and I do appreciate you guys reaching out for us. And it's a pleasure. We are car guys. We're not. I don't want to say we're business guys. We're car guys. So we love talking cars, regardless of what it is.
And that's why we had so much fun having you on the show. And it's flatOutAutos.com. You want one? Get a hold of them.
Yeah, Rob Hester, thanks so much again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Stay in touch with us now. You got something new or different? Give us a call. We'd love to have you on again.
Absolutely, will do.
Thank you.
Thanks. So cool. That is so
awesome.
cool. Stephen Gregory, thank you very much for finding that out at the airport for me.
I want you to know that I almost said, we want to just kind of be married with you guys up there. Could we somehow?
That's just a little weird, Don.
I know. Yeah. That's why I didn't say it, because he doesn't know my weirdness, but I didn't mean it in any kind of...
We need a new in-wheel time machine.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Well,
just buy the new Tahoe, and then give him $70,000 and wait about
you could buy a used Tahoe, because he says they can make this conversion 2015 to 20.
Yeah.
So, but what a beautiful looking truck!
I love it.
Is.
I love it.
Talk about drawing a crowd. Can you imagine if you drove into Lone Star Throwdown with one of those?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just to drive through
just
the ride around
anywhere. Well, anywhere. You have to be car people.
Take it into the
people
dealer.
would have followed you.
Take it into the dealer for an oil change.
Oh gosh, they'd freak.
Yeah, the whole dealership
Blow
would be
their
out
mind.
around it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The dealer principal.
The only thing that I wanted to ask him, can you find me a really cheap, ugly, non-conforming bench seat that you can put up in the front?
Oh, that would have been fun.
yeah.
That would have been cool. That would have been
Driving, you got your best girl. You got your
everything
arm
that he's
around her.
doing, I bet you he can.
Because if you remember the K5, no center console
No,
bucket seats. There was nothing like that. It was a bench seat.
And then you had the plastic cover like a grandma.
Yeah, and if you sat on it on a hot day, it left waffle iron marks on your legs.
And if you were really good, you'd take it to the upholstery shop and have them put that plastic cover over the top of the plastic. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was talking about, yeah.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Well, I guess
That
we
was
need...
cool. I like that.
I did,
That
too.
was a great interview.
So let's do a couple of headlines here. Nissan North America recalling 850,000 Sentra sedans over a defect that may prevent the brake lights from illuminating, which could increase the risk of a crash. Okay, model years, 800,000 of them, 2016 to 2019 Sentras. Kia recalling less than 380,000, I don't know how many less, but 380,000 vehicles because of issues with electric circuitry that could lead to
a thermal event. Fire! So you heard Ford is going to have a King Ranch version of the Explorer for 2022.
Well, speaking of Ford, a Ford baby pickup is in the works, and they're going to call it the Maverick.
I saw that.
And it's going to start at below $20,000. It's
Wow.
about time. I've said for the past 10 years
To bring back
the compact,
Right.
or what we call now the subcompact.
Yeah.
Because they call the midsize a compact, which it clearly is not.
You heard that General Motors filed for a patent for a floor-mounted foot massager.
What?
Inside of a vehicle.
Who did that?
General Motors did. I'm like, seriously?
Is that on the driver's side, back
No, it's
seat,
on the passenger side. A floor-mounted foot massager. Like we don't have enough technology in the vehicle.
I'll tell you what.
Or distractions.
That vehicle, that Mercedes-Benz that I drove not too long ago, the SUV, it is technology overload.
Yeah, that was the GLE.
It's way AMG GLE 53. It's way too much. I mean, it was overwhelming to me. It was so much. How could a person driving a car, you'd have to spend 30 minutes to set it up with all of the available technology just to go for your ride from here to Brookshire.
And if you've got two drivers, do you share the
No,
settings?
No, it doesn't. You got to start all over again and readjust everything. It's not like pushing the seat memorization.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Did you also hear that Chevrolet and GMC have announced that they are going to offer the Super Cruise on the 1500 trucks?
Yes.
I thought that was pretty interesting, as well as they're bringing that Cadillac exclusive technology to some of the other vehicles.
I like it.
All right, time now to take a quick break, and we will be back with more of the In Wheel Time Car Show right after this.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, March 20th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods, all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off at a friends and family event at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 20th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, March 20th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In Wheel Time Car Show. Just ahead, a great guest lineup including Adrian Espinoza and the Mexico auto scene. We're also going to talk to John Metrick about the National Electric Drag Racing Association. Yep, it's here and it's fast. Plus,
and quiet.
Mr. Mars reviews the Hyundai Elantra.
Yay.
We gaze longingly into our weekly events calendar. And we'll have the stories making auto news headlines this week. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, March 13th, 2020. Howdy to you, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin over there in the corner. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today. Let's go right to Mexico, shall we?
Okay.
Let us now talk to Adrian Espinoza. Adrian, hola.
Hello, how are you doing?
Well, we're doing great, and it's great to have you with us. It looks like the weather is stunning there. Where in Mexico are you?
I'm in Monterrey, Mexico.
Monterrey.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You say ole for Monterrey.
Oh, Don, don't stop.
I'm sorry, it was there. I had to go with it. So I have to ask you about the Mexican auto scene. You know, it's always been kind of a mystery to many of us. We see what happens here with the Tex-Mex brand of the auto scene, but we really don't know where it all is today in the country of Mexico. So let's ask you, what is the latest thing? What's the hottest deal going? And you know, there's this stigma, if you will, about lowriders. Well, to me, that's more of a Tex-Mex thing. Are lowriders the big thing there?
No, actually, it's not.
Well, tell me what is the thing there as far as the auto scene? Do you guys have cruise-ins there?
Yeah, we have cruise-ins, and we have kind of a mix-up. People like classic cars, American cars, European cars, Japanese cars. So there's a little bit for everyone, you know. Personally, I prefer American cars, like the Mustang or the muscle cars. That's what I like, personally.
And so when you go to a cruise-in, what is typically there? Clearly there's all kinds of makes and models, but is there one that
stands out above the rest?
Yeah, there's more prominent?
Probably the Mustang or the Porsche.
Or the Porsche.
Or the Porsche.
Yeah.
Porsche.
So are the Mustangs, are they sold direct to consumer in Mexico, or are they brought in?
Yeah.
Oh, they are sold direct?
They're sold directly by Ford de Mexico.
Okay.
So you can go straight ahead to the dealership and buy one.
And one of the other cool things about Mexico is they sell vehicles there that you can't get in the States.
Yes.
So, some of the vehicles you can find there are really, really creative and different than what we can get here in the States.
Well, let's face the fact. I mean, a lot of American cars are built in Mexico.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, huge factories. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have European brands like Seat, which is not for sale in the United States, or Peugeot, that's not for sale in the United States either.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting because we have a cool mixture of brands that usually you don't see everywhere, you know.
Do you have a lot of hot rods, or what we would consider hot rods there, cars that have been souped up, modified, increased horsepower, that sort of thing?
We have, but it's not the most common thing. It's most usually people restore them to the original specs.
Okay.
But we have them too.
And part availability there to do like classic American muscle cars of the 60s and 70s, parts are somewhat available down there?
Yeah, we have parts available here, and most of the people who can afford them imports them from the United States.
Okay.
How
directly.
funny. You wouldn't think that. You'd think it'd be just the opposite way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. The typical suppliers of aftermarket parts, they order from the United States and have it shipped down there. Yeah. Do you have hot rod shops? You know, all of our hot rod shops here have closed and everything is going online. Do you find that the case there in Mexico too?
Yeah, it's the same case in Mexico. We don't have car shows right now. It's against the law, actually.
No, I was referring to
this pandemic thing.
Yeah, no, I was referring to car shops, aftermarket shops.
Customizing shops.
Aftermarket shops. We have aftermarket shops, but they're open like normally they do.
Okay, so they're still blowing and going.
Yeah.
So, is that your car behind you?
This is my car.
Well, show it to
Mustang.
us. There we go.
Okay, so
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, you may be.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I was just going to say. So
there you are.
It's a bit dirty. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's all right. So it's a fairly late model Mustang. What year is that?
It's 2003.
2003.
Very good.
Yeah, and you got custom wheels on there. What else have you done?
No, it's actually all original.
Those wheels are original.
On the GT, it looks like
Yeah.
it's the bullet.
Oh, I
the
see.
bullet
Yes,
wheel.
I see now. Yes, they are original. Okay.
They're original. The interior is all originals as well.
Uh-huh.
It's a low mileage car. It's like 82,000 miles.
Oh, wow. So what are the laws there about modifying a car And as far as here in the United States, it's about state inspection and passing all of the laws, even after a car is modified, still has to meet the emission standards of when the vehicle was built. How does that work in Mexico if people do some vehicle modifications?
It all depends on where you live. If you live in Monterrey, you can do practically wherever you want.
Okay.
If you live in areas like Mexico City or the surrounding areas, you have to have your vehicle inspected first for emissions. But that's because there's like 25 million people living in that place. So it's the pollution, it's an issue over there.
Oh, yeah, very much
Yeah,
so.
we have the same thing here because here in Houston, they've got a different
Inspection
standard
law
than what I have 100 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a member of a Mustang club there?
Yeah, I'm the Auto Club Pistones, Auto Club Pistons. That's my club, my car club. And Mustang Club of Monterrey, Club Mustang Monterrey.
Okay.
They are both my car clubs.
And how many members in each of those clubs?
Piston Club have like 48 people.
Uh-huh.
And the Mustang Club of Monterrey like 30, 35. Something like that.
Cool.
That's a good size.
Yeah, last week we had the Italian Mustang Club on from Italy, and that was pretty cool as well.
Yes, exactly.
But something special about these clubs is like people usually own like, I own personally 2 cars, but people own like 15, 20 cars between Porsches, Audis, and Nissan GTRs, and
Lost you. There you are.
Oh, so it's
my
not.
battery is dying. I'm sorry.
So some pretty high dollar cars as well in their collection.
Pretty high dollar cars as well.
Yeah.
Pretty high end restorations.
Now, do you have a car event that you're going to go to today?
No, actually, I'm visiting some friends. That's why I only have this car here, and my other car is in my house.
So
it's a '99 Mustang as well, like this one, but it's a red one.
Okay. Oh. And so, do you have any car events coming up that you plan to attend?
No, we don't have events. It's banned because of the pandemic.
Yeah, he'd said earlier that it's against the law right now in Mexico.
But now,
and is that countrywide? It's against the law, or is that local as well?
Just local, Monterrey.
Okay.
What building are you standing out in front of?
This is just a building. It's a gym actually.
Oh, very interesting architecture.
Yeah, it's pretty typical Mexican architecture, but it's really nice.
I was going to say it's very pretty there.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yes. So, do you have any other plans for your Mustangs as far as modifications to them?
No, I prefer them original specs.
Pure stock.
Yeah. Do you change the oil, change the air filter, and do the all of the maintenance to it?
Or do you bring it
I do it myself.
Okay.
Yes.
Usually.
And are you pretty fastidious about it? I mean, do you do it right on time like you're supposed to?
Yeah. Usually, I don't drive this car very much, so I usually change the oil like once a year. But it's sometimes as low as 800 miles in the whole year.
In Mexico, are you guys on ethanol based fuel, or are you still on pure gasoline?
We still have pure gasoline in some stations and some ethanol in other ones. They tell you how much is in the fuel.
Yeah, because I know if the car's not tuned for ethanol, depending on how much ethanol you put in, it can kind of make the drivability go away a little bit.
Yeah.
You speak very good English. Are you dual citizen? How did you get to be so proficient in English?
Just on my school. That's all I have learned so far. I have friends in the United States like Randy Weldon and Manny Sainz in McAllen, Texas, and many other friends, but I haven't been living there actually.
So you follow Randy on social media?
Yeah, we met on social media, and I shared with him the story of my car, which is pretty interesting. I can tell you if you want to. But
yes, we'd love to hear it.
Please do.
Well, this car was built in January 24, 2003. And I was born January 24, 1985. The story behind this car is the day I turned 18, I told my mother I wanted a black Mustang. she couldn't afford it. She told me, he hugged me and said, I can afford it, but if I could, I'd buy it to you. My mother passed away in 2010. And in 2012, I was looking for a car because I was driving a 2003 Chevy Impala, but I didn't want the car anymore. And I was looking for a Mustang, and my brother had one, but it was involved in an accident. I couldn't find one, and my brother called me and said, hey, you know what? My boss is selling a black Mustang. I said, you know what? I'm interested. And I called him, and he said, you know, man, I sold it just yesterday.
Oh, no.
I was okay. I was looking for a car, and I couldn't even find one. And about a month later, he called me back and said, you know, the guy who was supposed to buy it took it back and didn't buy it. So I get somehow emotional with this. And I bought the car, but somehow I felt it was something special with this car.
Wow.
And about a year later, I was washing the car because I washed it myself. And I saw the VIN number and the build date, which was January 2003. And I was like, it's my birthday, close my birthday. And so I went a little deeper and found out that this car was the day I turned 18, the day I asked my mother for a black Mustang. And the day I found out, I was in my computer, and I have some of her music still on my computer. And I looked at her picture and said, Mom, you sent it to me?
How cool.
And I just started crying because her music started playing in the Windows Media Player.
Wow.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
What a great
Very
story.
cool. Very good story.
A car you will never get rid of.
No, that's why it has an 18 number right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
For your 18th
it's upside
birthday.
down. I'm sorry.
No,
it works.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. And that's why it has an 18 number, because that's what it means.
Oh, what a great
Not
story.
everybody knows
Very
that.
good.
But that's the story of the car.
Very good.
What a great story. And,
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Sent it from heaven.
do you live close to the gym there?
No, actually, I'm at my friend's house, and he lives a couple of blocks away from here.
Okay. And I assume that you guys have plans this evening in the Mustang?
Yeah, we're gonna have a cruise in the highway and see how's it going.
So that at this point in Mexico, that's the only way, or at least in Monterey, that's the only way you guys can gather is going and driving around, because they're not going to let you park and hang out.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool. That's what we do here too. We go on these, what was it, the forest cruise, and going cruising down to the beach and stuff. So how cool is that?
Yeah. Well, very good. Well, Adrian, it is a pleasure to meet you. You know, I just have to say that this Randy Weldon guy, he sure does get around a lot. And, last week it was Italy. This week it's Mexico. I'm thinking maybe the North or the South Pole for our next
we need
interview.
Russia.
He's looking for Australia.
Is he Australia?
Yeah.
I think the Russian thing would be probably more interesting, don't you?
Yeah, but if you follow Randy, you get lots of pictures of his dog Danny.
Yeah.
And the life of Danny. So, but thanks, Randy. We love
it's
you.
the Ford Mustang that ties it all together. I mean,
So-
that's how the camaraderie is
I'm a
built.
dog lover too, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you need to be sure and tell all of your friends that you were on the In Wheel Time car show today, and
Sure.
get them to like us and follow us.
And we're going to podcast this, and I'll make
It'll
sure
be on
we.
Thursday is whenever the podcast will hit out.
Okay,
So-
so you'll be on the podcast on Thursday's podcast. So keep that in mind and tell all of your friends. And we look forward to being connected with your circle of car friends down there in Mexico, so we can stay in touch and keep up to date with what's happening in the Mexico car
Absolutely.
scene.
And what a wonderful story about the car and your mom. That was
It's very touching. Yeah.
very emotional.
We sure appreciate it. It's great to talk to you. Have a wonderful day. It looks like the weather is great down there at Monterey, and we hope to touch base with you again.
Enjoy your cruise.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
You do the same.
You too.
Adrian Espinoza.
That was cool.
Very
Another
cool.
good little story.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Randy, because we know you're out there somewhere.
Oh yeah, he's listening.
Yeah, no matter where he is.
He's always listening.
He's always
He's lurking.
listening.
Yeah, he's a lurker.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You know, last hour, because we were so enthralled with the conversion guy, we kind of
Trimmed out a few things. That's okay.
yeah. And I was thinking that maybe perhaps we could do your Conrad's Car Clinic.
Sure. Well, one of the things, everybody gets a little concerned with is what do you do when your car overheats? So the red light comes on and your car is overheating. Maybe there's some steam or something coming out from under the hood. Really, it doesn't happen nearly as often today as it did in the past. And a lot of the reasons for that are most all of the cooling systems are electric fans as opposed to back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, where it was a belt-driven fan, and when the fan would stop, the car would overheat. Well, one of the other reasons is now the material that the hoses are made out of are totally different than they were in the past. So hoses don't quite wear out and fail the way that they used to. So all of the car manufacturers have done more and more things to try and minimize cars from overheating. But if it does overheat while you're driving, the best thing you can do is pull over to the side of the road on the shoulder, be safe, turn the car off immediately, but leave the key on and turn the heater on and the fan on so that you're blowing a little bit of cold, or you're blowing a little bit of outside air over the heater core, because that's going to try and help cool whatever liquid's left in there. So once you
but the liquid isn't moving.
well, yeah, but still, it's cooling it, and it's going to move just because of thermal differences. The heat's always going to be drawn to the cool side of things, so it's
Gotcha.
always going to be trying to draw some heat out of it. So if the car is steaming, don't open the hood. Wait till all that steam is kind of settled down a little bit, and then you can pop the hood open. Don't touch anything, because generally cooling systems not only are hot, but tend to be under pressure. And it may be 10, 15 pounds of pressure under there, and when they overheat,
be under
Be like
it'll
a
little bit
volcano
more-
if you
right.
bust that thing
Yeah,
open.
if you open it at the wrong time, it's bad. And then, look at there's generally what's called an overflow tank under the hood, and it's like a little clear, opaque plastic reservoir that should have some coolant in it and a line on it that says full cold or full hot. Look and see if there's any liquid in that. Don't open it up, because a lot of vehicles today, that overflow tank is pressurized as well. So again, you want to wait till the thing's cool, call roadside assistance, get yourself towed off the road. Don't think you can drive it an extra 5 or 6 miles just to get home, because then you go from an overheated car to a catastrophic engine failure. Because you'll see sometimes as engines overheat, and so many engines today are aluminum as opposed to cast iron, things change size and shape when they overheat, lock up, and then you're going to go from fixing an overheated engine to replacing a catastrophic engine failure. If you have some water or something that you can add, once things cool down and you can start touching stuff, if you're going to open anything, open it extremely slowly and listen to hear whether or not there's any pressure releasing as you're opening it. If there is, just kind of stop and ask for help. But if it is something you can open, go ahead and just start adding water to it and see what happens. You want to take a look and see, is there any water leaking, or is there any liquid leaking out from underneath your vehicle? Now remember, you're always going to have a little bit of clear water is going to leak basically at the feet underneath the car of the passenger side, and that's just the air conditioning condensation that drains out, and that's normal. But really, there shouldn't be anything else leaking. But you always want to be careful when your car overheats as to how you address under hood, so that you don't hurt yourself, because all that pressure and all that temperature is going to tear you up pretty quick.
I have witnessed guys getting terribly burned and hospitalized. It's so bad.
Because it's steam.
Boiling water.
Well, steam is actually hotter than boiling water, and it will immediately blister you. And if you get to a 3rd-degree burn, that's hospitalization. But thanks to technology today, cars don't overheat as much as they used to. But if you do find yourself in that situation, I just want to make sure you know how to handle it. Don't jump under there and pop the hood, because you don't know if that steam's coming out because something's spewing a stream of steam, and don't open things up until things cool down.
It's time now for this hour's car review, and Mr. Mars has the 2021 Hyundai Elantra. Are we going to put up the old Hyundai logo to start off this review?
Probably not.
thought
So
we had to send
we're
this to
talking
them.
about the Hyundai Elantra. We had the limited trim. Now this vehicle it's a compact sedan, but it doesn't feel like a compact sedan. They've actually made several changes in it. You can get it in 3 trim levels: the SE, the SEL, and the limited that we had. This year they're introducing a new called the Inline to kind of go along with the hybrid. But again, we had the limited. Now this is the compact sedan that's got coupe-like styling. If you look at it and you look at the body lines that go down it, it is basically a coupe.
I like this car.
It looks
Yeah, it's
really
good looking.
cool. It's
Very
got
good
this
looking.
nice new cascading grille that kind of rolls into the LED headlights on it. They've made this thing actually 2.2 inches longer this year. It's an inch wider, and they've lowered it almost 3/4 of an inch down. So it's got a little different
Better
perspective
stance,
on it.
yeah.
Absolutely. Now, to go along with the grill and the headlights and everything, it's got a sunroof on it. Now, it rolls on some 17-inch wheels, which is kind of, in this day and age of 20s and 22s, but 17 inches is a nice size for a nice driving vehicle. So it's got this really nice stylish look to it. Now, if you go to the interior, it's got the leather seating in it. It's got a 60/40 fold-down rear seat. It's got the console with the cup holders on it. It's got, now one thing I noticed about this one, the limited edition. So it's got a built-in nav system in it. So it's got the wireless, the other trims, the SE and the SEL. You want to hook up to your Apple CarPlay or your Android, wireless, boom, it's there, Bluetooth hooks it. But because this has a built-in nav system, you actually have to wire it in to be able to use the Bluetooth, which I thought that was kind of a strange setup. I mean, to use the CarPlay and things, just a little touch thing. So it's got the 10.25-inch touchscreen, which has got all your convenience controls where you're going to find your nav and everything. There's a 10.25-inch screen for the driver for all those controls.
Decent-sized screen.
Both of them very nice, very easy to read, very accessible with things. We had the Bose audio with the subwoofer and 8 speakers in it, so it really sounds cool inside there. Of course, we got the wireless charging for the Apple and the Android.
Jimmy Buffett in a Hyundai.
Well, I mean, you can crank up some serious tunes in this thing. Now, one thing I did was reading on it, they made the trunk, it's got a little bit smaller. I mean, it's only like 0.2 cubic feet smaller, but because of the way they expanded the interior to get a little more leg room in the rear seat here, that it just kind of, they took up a little bit of the trunk space in it, which really isn't too bad because it's not a lot of space. Now, you get off under the hood to really roll this thing and to make it go. It's got the 2.0-liter 4-cylinder. Now, it's only got 147 horsepower, and I say only. It does produce 132 pound-feet of torque, and it's backed by a CVT, but it's more than ample for a car of this type and of this size. And it gets you the EPA rating of 31 in the city, 41 on the highway. And so the combined on it's like 35, which I can get.
And that's one of the beautiful things about a CVT is they kind of put the engine in its most output mode and then accelerate
Very
the vehicle
easy to
there.
do. Yeah, they don't have to jack with all the shifting and jumping around and stuff. So you end up with this nice, smooth, quiet power train that can stay, like you say, in the power range. And when you're driving it, it's got a smooth ride. It's not floaty. It's not track stiff. But it's very steady. You feel very comfortable and confident in driving this vehicle.
And it's got a sporty look.
It does. That's that whole coupe styling to it.
Coupe style.
Coupe. So if you're looking for something to kind of compare it to, there's a lot of choices when you're in that compact sedan world. But you might look at the Toyota Corolla. That's comparable trim level is going to be about $25,900. You get a Mazda 3, and it's going to be up around $28,000. And the Honda Civic's going to be $28,171. So you can get into a base Elantra for a $19,650. Now, the MSRP base for the Limited that we were driving is $25,496. Now, the MSRP is tested for this vehicle, which I was very impressed to find out, is actually $26,600 for what I thought was a very value-packed vehicle that was nice and good to drive. I mean, it was a good driver.
And I think it's very good looking.
Yes, it does, particularly in that red color.
I like the logo.
And Jeff
Always.
likes the logo.
We have some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news out of Los Angeles. Chris Harrison will not host the upcoming season of The Bachelorette following controversy over racially insensitive comments.
Oh, no.
And will instead be replaced by two former contestants.
So what? I'm not a fan. I don't watch The Bachelor.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking
doesn't really
about.
matter to me, but thanks, Don.
Well, I was kind of making.
Was that the sound that you had? 'Cause your phone came on.
Well, that was his phone, wasn't it?
That was
Don's
phone. Breaking
We
news.
always get busted with our phone.
Gee
but
whiz.
Don's phone goes off. It's like, oh, it's just my phone. It's breaking
He's
news.
such
It's
a gringo.
breaking news.
He's such a gringo.
I'm sorry. That's breaking news.
No, it's not.
I didn't.
Who
I wouldn't-
cares about
I wouldn't
Chris-
even count it as being news.
I never even heard of Chris Harrison.
I don't watch The Bachelor, so
No, I don't either.
I haven't been a bachelor
But
in
you
over
should be on
42
that.
years.
You should be on that show, Don.
No, I should not.
Yes, absolutely.
No.
That'd be the Bachelorette.
Yeah, it would be the Bachelor. It'd be the Bachelor, old school. Can you see
Or
that?
the old Bachelor.
Yeah, sagging body parts from the nursing home. Now here's Don Armstrong
With weather and traffic.
with weather and traffic from
doctor.
10 years ago.
Traffic doctor that needs malpractice.
We have to get to Don before Wheel of Fortune comes on because he has to go sit in front of the TV. and
Where
watch
am
Wheel of
I? What
Fortune.
time is it?
Oh, you could be president. Why am I here? What am I signing? Never mind.
Oh Lord, it's now gone off the rails, hasn't it?
Wrong show.
That's it. So are we have John Metric coming up?
Almost.
Okay, so we're next half hour. We're going to do an interview with the guy with the National Electric Drag Racing Association.
Cool.
Which ought to be fun.
And his vice president is down at the Gator Nationals.
All right, very good. Maybe we'll get some inside stuff of what's going on down there. Well, the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcasts, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, March 20th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods, all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off at a friends and family event at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise-in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 20th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise-in, March 20th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
So before we go to the opening of the next half hour with our guest, what was it that Candace said?
Candace Thackeray says, can you see Don giving a rosebud to a 70-plus-year-old lady? Absolutely, Candace. Jeff in the corner says it'll be an old wore-out dandelion. Or one of those steak plants.
Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In Wheel Time Car Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong.
You got to love it when the followers engage in the show like that. That's just too funny.
We need a studio audience in-house.
Well, we do.
Yeah, we do.
We got a virtual audience.
Oh, my God. Well, at any rate, thank you for joining us today. I'm glad that the show's almost over. We got about a 30-minute segment that we've got to go. Because
this is going to be a good one.
This is going to be a good one.
And Don's going to go collect dandelions out in the yard.
No doubt. So joining us now is John Metrick and Keith Howard with the National Electric Drag Racing Association. Gentlemen, good morning. And are you guys down there in Florida? Do we have them, Mr. Mars?
We've got a little
Hey,
video
John.
segment.
John. I had John.
If you guys can hear us, wave.
This is Keith Howard at the track. I'm at the track in Florida. Can you guys all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Love the sound behind you.
But we can't see you. Do we?
No, I think he's got the phone up. There you are.
go.
There you are, Keith.
You can see.
Now we
you
can
see
see.
me. I gotta keep my ear to the phone with the noise until I learn to talk between cars.
Well, that's okay. If we need to. If we need to stop while they're making a pass, then that's okay. We can do that. So thank you guys for joining us today. Wanted to talk to you about the National Electric Drag Racing Association. Are you guys down there at the Gator Nationals?
Keith
This is Keith. I'm John. I know John's in Houston, and I'm in Florida at the track.
Okay. So I see. All right.
So, John, you're still here at the home office, I guess.
That's right. Headquarters here in Houston, and Keith's on a super secret mission over there. He's with the Don Garlett's Drag Racing Museum. Their trailer that you see in his background there, he's got all the pictures from Don Garlett's over the years. Keith, maybe you could just pan around in there. Don Garlett's, of course, is building electric dragster. He's built two now, Swamp Rat 37 and Swamp Rat 38. And so we'd like to stay and support him.
So has Don Garlett's made any passes with these? I assume that they're long dragsters, actually the long wheelbase dragsters. Am I correct?
Yeah, he's been doing it for 5 to 6 years, and he's done about 189 in the quarter mile. And he held an outright record for cars right up until the last few weeks, where a new fella from the West Coast, Steve Huff, who's really into Top Fuel motorcycles, he built an electric car, and he was the first car to 200 miles an hour.
I think that, I have a feeling that Keith is probably down at the top end of the track in his trailer, because I can hear him coming down the track.
Yeah, Keith, you could just put the microphone to your ear. You don't have to show us a picture so you can hear us.
Yeah.
You just put it to your ear.
Yeah, don't worry about showing us a picture. You just hold the phone up to your ear and we'll be good.
Are they doing any exhibition runs there at the Gator Nationals this year? I know they've done some exhibition runs last year. Are they doing any electric drag racing exhibitions this year?
Not at this race. It was our intent to try to be ready to do something here, but with the Gator Nationals being the first race of this year, and it's kind of an overload for Don with the International Drag Racing Banquet Hall of Fame event, which is on the Thursday prior to the event and everything here. He is 89, so we try to keep his life as stress-free as we can. So we're working, and we'll have an announcement in the future of where something really fun will take place.
Yeah, like doing 190 miles an hour in an electric dragster isn't stress-free.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you're trying to develop the electric drag racing program, because I heard NHRA is contemplating a class for you guys this year or next year.
So from what I understand from we sent two people to that meeting, Lowell Simmons, the vice president of Nhra, and Keith is the head of marketing. And we were just listening to see what they were thinking. They're exploring it for the first time, I think, and they reached out to Ford and General Motors and Toyota and Chrysler, and I asked them about whether or not they felt that something could be done as far as adding a class onto the NHRA stock, their classes, like something like OEM they don't have a name for it. It's just unofficial at this point.
Right.
But Keith, do you want to add?
Well,
I think
we lost Keith.
We lost Keith. Just the sound overload, I think, was a little hard for him.
Okay.
But I know that over the last year, they were showing an electric Cobra jet and actually racing it against a gas-powered Cobra jet at a number of the NHRA events. So is that a little bit of what you're talking about, or are you guys talking about purely a multi-level class for electric vehicles, this being one of them in a Miata?
Yeah, so they're really talking about the something like an OEM stock class, and that was just a demonstration and exhibition. We applaud it. Team on the West Coast helped build that MLER cars, and they also did that Chevy Copo Camaro, if you remember.
Yep.
So they've had different success, in exhibition runs, but we're glad to see it on Sunday. The Nhra guys for 25 years have been racing. We've had 200, 300, 400 cars come through the Nhra membership classes.
Wow.
And they're all, they're all conversions mainly, meaning you took an old car and you converted it. This is the first time where, a company like Ford has been in the forefront of the development, and they've got probably $1 million behind that car. I'm probably underestimating that, but
yeah, I think we got a picture of Garlett's car, but right now we're looking at the
Lone Star Dragster.
All right, I can't see it, but which one?
It's the silver one, EV Racing Lone Star.
All right, well that one's Panic in Detroit, and the picture may be the Ford. Does it have the red motors on there?
No, it's got a blue cover on the motor.
Oh, blue cover. That one's an extinction level event. That's a new 2,000 horsepower prototype motor that we're developing. I'm working on it today, actually.
And John, that was one of the questions that I had. What are the limitations in electric drag racing? I mean, outside of batteries, are there limitations?
Yeah, there's one big limitation is that they don't allow a rule to artificially clamp your car down to the track.
Yeah.
And the alcohol boys, they get to shoot these jets of exhaust up in the air, and they get an extra 1,000 pounds of downforce. And so we're at the point now where if we want to try and go quicker, we're spinning the tires out from under because you got a limit of traction at the.
So there's no transmission. There's no way that you can limit the spin, but isn't there a way that you can limit the amount of power that goes to the wheels and maybe some sort of a traction control device?
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that when the tire is starting to move, the traction G-force between the tire and the track is limited to about 2.5 Gs. Okay, that's a function of the coefficient of friction of rubber and the asphalt and the stickum that they put on there.
Yes.
If you can push down on your car, you actually get artificial help in that. You can actually pull like 3 Gs, 3 or 4 Gs, and those exhausts pushing up give you that extra downforce.
Well, I noticed there's no wing on the back.
I
the
think
wing
this
is
one. Yeah, go ahead.
The wing is drag. The wing is drag, and up to a certain point, if you've got enough power to break it loose on the top end, then you need a wing to help to push down. But right now we're right on the border of whether we got enough power at the top end that we would break it loose.
So what would you do at the get-go to add downforce or downward pressure on the tires? What could you do? I understand that your comment about how exhaust flow out of the Zoomies creates some downforce, and that was a couple of years ago when Jack Beckman was so dominant. They were messing around with the angles of the Zoomies to add to that downforce. How would you be able to do that on an electric vehicle?
Well, that's been a thing I dream about all the time. One would be we could maybe put some coolant fans or a bottle of coolant and shoot the coolant through the motor and then exhaust it upward. That might be a legitimate way to add downforce. Another one would be a chaparral kind of model.
That's what I was going to ask, if you could put the vacuum on it like Chaparral did back in the old Can-Am days.
Believe me, I've thought about it. Other than our body's pretty small, and the Chaparral car is really wide.
And they ran a separate motor to run that vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, we've got plenty of power in motor. I mean, I can put electric, I can spin the motor, spin a fan and pull suction on it. That's one thought. I thought it was sort of like cheating, though. You know, it's the other thought would be clamp it to a rail and make it like a slot car.
Yeah, it's only cheating when you get caught.
There you go.
Nah. So our like that little Miata does 0 to 60 in about 1 second flat.
Yeah, with the wheels up in the air too.
That you can't get much more downforce than the front wheels up in the air. And in an electric car, when we can lift the wheels up in the air, you've reached the pinnacle. There's not much more you can do other than try to
that's pretty
play
good.
A little bit with the overspeed. Maybe 10% slip or 15% slip might give you a little bit more, but that's about it.
So when you talk about horsepower, though, at the dig, it's really more about torque. And I know on electric motors, you've got max torque at the head of the throttle. What kind of torque are you talking about? Let's talk about that Mazda Miata that's got the wheels up. What kind of torque output would you guess that motor's putting out?
We ran that on the dyno. That made 1350 to the rear wheel.
Oh my gosh! In a Miata.
In a Miata. The Panic in Detroit, the 4 motor made 3,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow. And then we're looking at, what is it, Shockwave?
Shock and Awe.
Shock and Awe, the orange Trans Am.
Shock and Awe did it a little differently. They used AC motors and a 2-speed transmission, and that car, I think, just off the top of my head, made about 600 or 700 foot-pounds of torque. But right at the beginning.
In your organization, are there restrictions about or class variances about AC versus DC powered vehicles?
No, there's very few AC vehicles. One is Shock and Awe and the Steve Huff car.
That just went 200.
That just went 200, but he did it all in the top end, which is what the big problem's been with the DC brushed motor drag racing. Was we didn't have a lot of top end power. So there's a few other ones. Michel Bertrand out of Canada has got 3 AC motors in his car.
Oh my gosh!
I apologize if I'm forgetting anybody.
No. That's okay. We appreciate, and the pictures are actually pretty cool to see how many of these cars are. And again, it's the measure of torque output that are just wheels up at the start.
Yeah.
So my question is, these guys that are working on these electric cars, are they car guys or are they electricians?
What I would have to say they're mainly car guys, and that's why I get phone calls all the time as to, support. But a lot of them do it on their own, and they'll reach out to experts in their local area, and they do their best. It's, I would say, mainly car guys.
So with you based in Houston, do you have any Houston events?
I usually hold one event per year, and first of the year EV drags in January. It got canceled this year due to COVID.
Yeah. And where do you hold that?
Well, I used to hold it at Sealy Lone Star Motorsports Park, but I don't know what's going on over there. Hennessy is they don't do that every week anymore, and I just we do probably now. We'll move it over to Houston Motorsports Park on Beltway 8 and up in the northeast corner of Houston.
So, John, not looking at the research that goes into it, just building. So building like a Don Garwitz is building his. He's got a top fuel car. Now he's got an electric dragster. Is there in my mind, there's a significant difference in the cost of building that electric dragster to run 200 miles an hour versus a top fuel car?
Well, top fuel is a specific class of, car and fuel, and they're doing 300 miles an hour, so maybe you might consider it closer to a top dragster or a super comp dragster.
Okay.
Super comp, a rail, you can drop a Chevy small block in there in a Power Glide transmission and have a pretty good power to weight ratio. Electric's going to be a little bit more expensive just due to the battery, and it's probably going to be set you back about $20,000
for the battery
For the
pack?
battery?
And how
Yeah,
long?
for the
And
battery.
how long will a battery pack not hold a charge and last? How long will it last in the recharge events? Will it take them through a whole season, or will they through a couple of seasons, or does the battery pack eventually just the ability of charging it wear out and you have to replace them?
Well, my car's on its 4th season on the same battery pack.
Wow.
So
Oh, wow.
that investment's paid off. I
for
I
sure.
don't see a problem with it. We recharge it in 15 minutes, top it off. I just got a report from Electric Junior. Jeg sells our Electric Junior battery packs from Lone Star. And Nhra was responsible for writing the rules for the Electric Junior, so NHRA adopted them. This last year, I think they've sold 25 Electric Juniors at $22,000 each, and they're sold out. I just heard that they ran 38 runs over a 2-day period, only on 2 recharges.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they said those go. We guarantee those for about 3 seasons. They're about $2,000 each.
You may have said this. Is it 1/8 mile or 1/4 mile for the electric?
What do you want? I do,
What's the event?
Whatever what the classes are. The juniors run the 1/8. So, but the
juniors run the 1/8, and you can run either the 1/8 or the 1/4 bracket, grudge, what have you. We've done 1/2 mile, 1 mile.
Oh wow.
Yep.
So have you guys ever shown up with a couple of cars to some of the Friday night street fight races?
Oh, yeah.
And just kind of knock their socks off, and it's like, oh my gosh,
We don't advertise it. When after we beat them, they come over to the pits and say, "Hey, you didn't declare you had a turbo in there."
Well, I don't.
And I said, "No, I don't have a turbo in there." I said, "Look, it's a forklift motor."
I got an ever ready.
And he says, "Wow!" So they want to fight when they find out they got whipped by electric.
So is that motor the motor of choice? The tow motor?
Forklift?
Yeah.
Well, I would say up to the last few years, in this whole race for the top end speed is one thing. But as far as budget goes and that bottom end torque, it's really hard to beat that model of the DC brush motor, about 9-inch or 10-inch. It makes we can get it to do about 600 foot-pounds of torque per motor. And like I said, well, that little Miata had 2 of them in there, so.
Jeez.
And how do you string the 2 together electrically?
No, electrically, it's just a cable jumper. You just put them in series and have a high voltage battery, and real simple.
And what kind of batteries are you using?
Funny you ask. This is a typical pouch cell here. It's about 6 inches tall and about 2 inches wide, and this will do 500 amps. This little thing.
Holy cow!
Yeah, and it's about as big as your cell phone, wide. And then we pull that current out through a set of connectors. And these are 8 millimeter wide bullets. These are good for about 300 amps each, and we have 2 of them on each battery.
And how many batteries would you have in a vehicle?
Well, individual cells will have about 1,000. This is our new one. This is a 20 amp hour cell. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yep.
this is
Yeah.
4 inches wide and about 7 inches long. And this is 20 amp hours. This is 4 times as big as the other one. And
there you go.
Yeah.
So there's
So this has got just a humongous amount of cables coming out of it. So this is good for. I'm looking at selling this to like the SCCA slalom people. Somebody says, "Hey, I want to go 45 seconds of high power, but I want a super light pack." And I'm like, "Well, I think I got."
Well, we need to get you in touch with Richard Tomlin.
So I have to ask you, why do you not use, say, for instance, the batteries that come with a Tesla?
Good question. So the main thing about the Tesla battery is it's designed for range. It's C rating. Like if you have an amp hour storage, it'll store 1 amp for 1 hour. That's kind of the definition of its storage capacity.
Right.
When you go to discharge, if you discharge it at 1 amp per hour, it'll stay within its temperature range. If you do 2 amps in 30 minutes, it starts to get warm. At 10 amps in 6 minutes, where you're ramping it up, now it's overheating.
So do you actually have a battery cooling system on these vehicles that you're running?
If you want to use the Tesla, you're going to have to use a cooling system. And I'll just warn you that we race against the Tesla, and he'll go out and do one good run, and then he's got to let his car cool for an hour.
Okay.
Is there a happy medium between 1,000 of those batteries and a Tesla?
So 1,000 of our batteries is about 200 pounds. And the Tesla battery is about 1,000 pounds.
Okay, but is there something in between that's currently being made that's affordable?
Well, that's what I custom designed this one to be kind of a 20C battery. It's got the big wide tabs on the end, and it cools. This one I can discharge like hundreds and hundreds of amps at about 20 or 30 C, and at the end of the race, you haven't provided any cooling. It still hasn't exceeded its
Gotcha.
its temperature limit.
So for the purpose that you're using it for, this works for you. And now, has anybody else come up with anything more efficient?
More efficient. So
efficient meaning more amperage out of the thing
in a shorter period of time without having to manage the cooling.
With the cooling part of it, yeah.
Well, the heat comes from the resistance of the cell, right? So there's a spectrum of R, so spectrum of resistances for different designs. The Tesla, Leaf, Chevy Bolt, they're all very high resistance cells, but their benefit is they have huge amounts of storage in a certain volume.
Right.
Not, I wouldn't say weights in their in their favor, but the amount of energy in a certain volume is in their favor.
But because you are all about short time discharge, it's easier for you to lower the weight because you don't have to worry about the long term output.
I can pick a cell, like there's some Dow CoCam cells that are in the 10C range. So those are good for 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes of not full power, but
how many cycles does that battery have to go through before it's either rebuilt, disposed of? How many times can you use that before it's no good anymore? Or it can
that style cell, and we don't run them low. We always run them at wide open, and that's what they're sort of paying the extra money for. But we get about 500 runs on that.
Wow. And you said you can recharge in 17 minutes?
Yep, 15 minutes. Yep.
And what kind of power source are you using to do that? 440, 220? You use your welder.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's jump a bunch in it at once.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, this is a conversation that is out of my league because I'm not the electrician, but I kind of get it and I understand it. And it's a real trick, and you've got to be able to manage all of that, and obviously he has.
Well, he's got, in your mind, he has nitromethane batteries.
Yes.
With no range anxiety.
Because the range is a half mile.
Well, a half mile.
You got to drive back.
Yeah.
Well, John, it's truly fascinating to talk to you. National Electric Drag Racing Association. We're going to start keeping up with you. You guys let us know how you're doing. And if you got something earth-shattering you want to tell everybody, be sure and let us know, and we'll get you back on the air.
Look us up at Nhra.com.
Nhra.com. Okay, we'll do. John, thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
It's kind of exciting. I mean,
It is.
To get you kind of pumped up. I'd
It
like
is.
to
And
see one of those electric dragsters.
And you know that somebody soon is going to come up with more power and a way to get that power to the ground.
Well, that's going to be the trick, is how to make it stick.
Hey, the Jeep Grand Cherokee L will be a newcomer to the three-row utility segment when it arrives at dealerships in the second quarter, but it won't need much of an introduction. Jeep will just have to let consumers know that the Grand Cherokee can haul a few more people now. So look for that. GMC plans to unveil and begin taking reservations next month for the electric Hummer SUV, a sibling of the 2022 Hummer pickup. GMC will show the SUV on April 3rd at 4 o'clock Houston time during the NCAA Final Four men's basketball tournament, according to a statement that the brand made last Monday.
Oh, I guess I'll miss it.
Well, I will too, but I don't know. Why would they pick that to make the...
Because they're assuming it's going to have a huge huge audience.
Yeah, viewership.
Okay. I don't know. I don't really watch. I'm not a big basketball fan.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against basketball. I just have never been a big basketball fan.
I think The Bachelor's on during that time.
The Bachelor. The Bachelorette.
Bachelorette.
Yeah, there is that. Okay, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be back with more of the In Wheel Time Car Show after
The Singular.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, March 20th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods, all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off at a friends and family event at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 20th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, March 20th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Well, guess what? That's it for this episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show.
Great show.
Hey, when you're on Facebook, please give us a like, tell your friends about us, share your junk. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available everywhere. Pandora, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcasts, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict, to name a few. Special thanks to all of our guests today. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is the fabulous David Ainsley. Our video sales and marketing man in the corner is Jeffrey Zekin. This week's In Wheel Time Car Show is produced and directed by Joe, I Forgot, Bygone. For booking agent and podcast man Mike Out of This World Mars and his royalty king Conrad DeLong, Don Armstrong saying so long for now. And we hope that you'll join us for the next live show from Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on 99 in the Grand Parkway, just south of I-10 in Katy, next Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Time. Come on out and see us right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Bye-bye for now.